kamu guys.
Aja. Halo guys.
Valdus.
Di apa sih Mas Gatra ya?
Udah nggak barusan ya? Waduh, bahasa Inggris nih.
Mana belum kan? Jadi kuat. Itu Mas Gatra. Kata aku mau aja.
Halo guys. Orbitnya belum ketemu guys. Turnamen apa ini? Oh ya.
Harusnya di gimana sih?
Halo guys. Nah, sampai. Halo guys, kita malam ini akan menonton turnamen ya, turnamen PMWI ya, hari kedua ini ya. Kita melihat apakah Bigetron akan bersinar malam ini guys ya. Mana aku tahu kok kamu. Ada nggak suaranya? Ini match pertama akan diadakan di Wrangle ya guys ya.
Gue ada suara aku di situ. Ada kah? Hah? Tadi kencang nggak?
Kencang. Yang halo guys, tadi ini dirubah. Ini nanti posisinya ininya orangnya ada di sebelah kanan kiri ya.
Ini kita saksikan ya guys ya. Ini lagi wow di broken wall. Iya tembak dikit. Oh, ini kita lihat pertandingan di Sunhawk ya guys ya. Ini sangat ketat sekali. Shooting point dan langsung balik ke lobby ya guys ya. Ini match ketiga nih di hari ini ya. Inilah aku ngobrol, slow apa? Ini caster kita satu lagi pendiam ya guys ya. Hah? Ngoceh dong.
Itu beneran. Itu beneran. Ya, satu kenok, dua kenok, tiga kenok, rata
Balik ke lobby guys ya.
Ya, seru ini.
Ini pertandingan antara Cacing Gaming versus
Chicken
sekalinya yang di high ground ya. Ini pertandingan close
combat
combat ya.
Karakin nih. Oh, Karakin.
Karakin nggak mungkin di turnamen.
Ya.
Nama squadnya kelihatan ya.
Ini squad siapa ini?
Langsung display aja. Langsung dilempar bom ke arah smoke ya guys. Langsung knock balik ke lobby guys.
Main di ujung-ujung rupanya.
Ujung mana nih?
Ujung bawah-bawah bukit.
Oh.
Ya,
Ini kalau menurut analis bagaimana pertandingan malam ini nih?
nggak seru nih. Waduh, langsung ended.
Ini kan hanya cuplikan ya.
Oh iya iya iya. Rupanya cuplikan. Kenok satu di dalam, iya. Kenok dua. Wah rame.
Oi, delay itu Mas. Itu aku ngomong udah lama banget loh. Lama delaynya.
Oh, mobil Tesla, kenok dua.
Ada mobil Sultan rupanya di sana guys. Ada cacing
Iya,
gaming guys.
cacing
Cacing
gaming,
gaming, cacing gaming mendapatkan satu
Iya,
kenok. Ada yang ditabrak, dua, tiga ketabrak. Oh, Richard.
Boker lagi.
Udah gak ini? Ini kalau menurut analis bagaimana nih pertandingan
Iya.
malam ini?
Ini
Wah,
seru sih. Banyak semok malam hari ini.
gitu. Nih, aku mau lihat di sana.
Iya, cacing kenok dua. Rupanya rame di sini. 1 lawan 4. Dan kenok 3. Cacing lagi, mati lagi. Ngepron lagi dong. Iya, di sanok ini. Ya. Kenok 1. Langsung di end dong. Ya, 3 squad berkumpul. Oh, keren keren. Rame ini ya, 2 squad bertemu. Sisa 1, 1 lawan 1. Kenok 1 lagi. Iya. Rupanya jadi cacing. Oh, main di atap. Saya kenok 2. Ya, TPP di dalam, kenok 1, langsung di end. 1 lawan 1. Langsung di end pakai Rambo. 1 lawan 4. Kenok 1, 2, langsung end. Iya, main di tebing rupanya. Oh, di molotov. Ya. Wah. Bahasa 3 lawan 1. Ya, mulai turun satu squad. Wah, rata rupanya, guys. Nih, ya. Di sini di labirin mainnya. Iya, bingung dia. 2 lawan 1, 1 kenok. Kenok 2. Kenok 3, langsung rata. Ya, yang kenok ini langsung di end. Oh, main lompat-lompat, guys. Woi, mobilnya Tesla semua ini. Ditabrak 1. Wah, ada di cacing. Gimana nih, guys? 1 lawan 1, 2 lawan 1. Knock. Iya, jadi cacing.
Aku tuh memastikan antara fotomu sama yang ini tuh gak delay tuh. Hah? Delaynya kan antara ngesiarkan sama pendengarnya. Hah? Bukan antara aku tuh, yang penting antara orang yang ngomong tuh. Kalau kemarin kan kita ngomong nontonin ini coba, tapi kan pas podcast lambat kan. ini kan sama
cacing.
coba mana mas
Apa ML?
aku tuh memastikan
Baik, kamu
lah
lawan
bikin
bot.
desain dulu aja lah lama bikin desainnya dulu dijadiin diukur dulu aja aduh anjing malas banget
Tapi nanti ada zoom ya mas ya?
ya ada dulu enggak ini pas jadi nanti itu game casternya sama boom dah mau apa lagi
Berarti tinggal ngubah ininya aja nih.
ya tulisan
Ini PUBG-nya ganti ML.
ini jangan gitu dong warna-warninya dong desainnya jangan sama dong cari aja yang mereka casting itu modelnya gimana yang kita tiru itu warnanya sebenarnya gampang masalah
Udah turnamen dulu ya di grup ya. Saya di grup ya.
kita cari yang langsung jadi apa
Nyarinya di mana sih kamu? Aku tadi nyari nggak dapet mas. Aku tadi nyari di mana?
ya ini ya carinya tuh gambar bukan apa-apa cari aja yang mereka casting wajar lagi tuh
Pas band and pick-nya tayang nggak ya? Di HP wasit bisa ngeliat nggak ya band and pick-nya?
apanya
Di HP wasit
lihat apa
pas lagi mereka tanding kan lagi pick hero gitu. Ini keren mas.
ya kayak gitu kayak gitu
Wah apa sih? Makin dah Kenapa mas kata?
iya
Mana anu yang buat live streamnya mana?
di bensin itu
Yang buat live streamnya tadi mana? Ini. Ya matiin dah.
iya kan itu nggak ada ukurannya masa sih
PUBG Mobile World
So, we see them,
Invitational
right?
is powered by Gamers Without Borders and is brought to you by OnePlus, the official smartphone provider.
Tapi matiin aja dulu mas.
Nemo TV, the official streaming platform, and STC, the official playout sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get underway here with our second day of action in our West Conference. I'm your host, Jason Kaplan, joined by some fantastic gentlemen who will introduce in just a few seconds of time because we have $3 million on the line over the course of these 4 days for all these teams to win and donate to the charity of their choice. And hopefully, we can get a lot of money in the hands of charity here. We can see some great plays at the exact same time. Let's bring in our analysts now because I like to be the most handsome man on the show. It's in my contract for the first at least 15 seconds of it. But now more handsome gentlemen joining me here with Frost and Seven Worlds Gaming. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Sorry, for some reason, yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great too. I mean, we had a wonderful first day, and coming into today, it's going to be awesome to see what the teams have learned from yesterday's games.
You guys are just so nice. They let each other talk first. I like that. I respect it. Let's take a look, though, at how the breakdown comes with the money, obviously, going over the course of these 4 days. We have $250,000 on the line for first place to donate for charity. But everyone gets a little bit of money here or there to make sure we get charity in there, or money into the hands of charities we're trying to help with COVID relief. We got the likes of UNICEF, Gavi, Direct Relief, International Medical Corps, and King Solomon Humanitarian Aid and Relief, all helping out and bringing you Gamers Without Borders that had $10 million on the line over the course of 6 weeks. But we got $3 million here for PUBG Mobile. We're ending things off with the best game as well. You can see here how the money does go to relief, especially for UNICEF. $1 million of donations can enable over 270,000 people to be vaccinated with 2 doses. I am super jealous because I'm still on like the back of the list in Germany. I'm hoping we can get that eventually going in my country and I can be vaccinated and the whole world can be safe here. But guys, I mean, we're seeing how important it is to make sure everyone vaccinated around the world. As we're seeing, you know, COVID obviously develop over the course of this, what, year and a half now? But it's great to see things like games like Forest to help relieve us and hopefully help make the world be at peace again.
Definitely is. I mean, I've been messing it myself. I'm hoping that everybody starts getting vaccinated because I just want to be able to see some of you guys face to face again, man. I miss you. I miss you, Jason. I miss you. Look at me, look extra short.
When he says you guys, he means me, Frost, not you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely talking to me, not with you. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. What? Okay, what do you say? Potato or potato?
7.
What do I say? Potato. Who says potato?
Jason.
Me, when you want to mix
bagus
stuff
tuh,
up,
jadi
a little
kalau
fun, just
sebenarnya
like
kalau
a
live
fun
dia
here on
teman-teman
today's
yang
show. Let's take a look at the schedule so you can see
anu kan
where
bisa
the fun
nonton
will be
matchnya
held
di
and
live
which
IG kan.
battlegrounds. Just like yesterday, we're starting things off on Erangel, heading over to Sandhawk second, going back to Erangel, head over to Miramar, where potatoes will not be able to grow. And then back on
Emang terlalu
Erangel,
kecil ya,
finish
Mas?
off our final match of our second day, which will be at our
Potret-
halfway point with 10 matches left to go in
Potret
both
terus
regions.
dibagi-bagi
We have an East
gambarnya
Conference
terlalu
and a
kecil
West
ya,
Conference.
nontonnya jadi
Maybe missed out on
nggak
the
enak.
East Conference that did happen earlier on today, but you know what? Go back, watch the
Masalahnya
VOD,
kalau
see my
misalnya
lovely face
TV
again.
miring jelek,
Or that lovely
langsung
tight
malah
skin
jelek
hot
banget.
seat me and just listen to the fantastic analysts that are going to be there for that one with
Itu
Glenn
memang dilema yang
Blake.
kemarin juga.
But anyway, guys, as we move on into this one, I think it's time to actually
Sama
see
kayak kita
how day
nonton
one wrapped up, right? I think it's all about where the teams ended up placing, who got the $80,000 for first place to donate towards charity. And let's take a look at
Aku
our
juga
overall
setuju sih
standings.
kalau
We got a couple
misalnya
of teams
nontonnya
we
itu
expected
enak
to be there, and a couple of
sih.
newcomers,
Ini enak agak kecil ya.
the likes of a certain Mexican team.
There is. I mean,
Kelihatan nggak sih?
Chivas,
Nggak
where
kelihatan.
did they come from? I feel like this is the first main event that we've been at, and you know what? Let's actually go through this list because even the one team that was able to, by the way, these teams are able to take $80,000 to their charities if they end up in first place after every day. Destiny being able to get 66 points, I thought that was a huge surprise. They started off the day super unlucky with the circles, but
Atau
they were able to come back.
anu
And
sih,
some of the players were able to
satu
actually
lagi
get
live
hot
ini
as well.
YouTube
We
yang
have
data.
Action Gaming, where they were able
Atau
to
pas
step up
main
to
dimiringkan
19
gitu.
esports out of
Kalau
Canada.
live,
Came out of nowhere from
kalau bisa diatur
Frost,
gitu, Mas.
and they were able to put up a great
Bisa
performance.
dihabisin,
To be fair
habisin.
though, they kept winning the engagements against their NA competition in Ghost Gaming, and it pushed them up to third place. And I mean, going back to Chivas, fourth place. This is a team that I can honestly say I was expecting them to be towards the teens, towards the 11, 12s, and 13s. But it's a huge surprise for me to at least see them here with 48 points in fourth place, and then off of 7. I was looking at the stats. I'm super surprised that they're currently in fifth place, considering the way some of their players performed yesterday. That's one team I'm definitely going to be looking at, Frost.
I want to see more from UDR because we see them currently on 8th place down there with 40 points, but they've been playing pretty decently, and they have the potential to do even more. We saw them, of course, starting off with a third place in yesterday's first game with 8 kills. I want to see them continue on that kind of run because after that, it kind of slowed down for them, but that's what we want to see. And talking about Chivas and 90 Esports, those two teams were basically dominating on Erangel games. All 3 of the Erangel games, they got themselves a pretty decent both placement and kills, but we didn't see them win a game yet. Both of them, as you can see, towards the top without chicken dinner. So hopefully they can bring one home today, and it's probably going to be on Erangel if we're getting that from those two teams.
Oh yeah, I mean, you said it. They were just dominating. When it came to Erangel, like, especially after the second match, we were like, okay, this team's alright there. We were starting to bet on it too. We were saying these teams are actually going to end up being either second place when it came to Chivas. It didn't happen on the last Erangel, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe today they're able to clutch that win. We got La Canostra here with 39 points.
Dia tuh setara kayak layar gaming ya
Towards
HP
the
itu.
end yesterday, they started to
Berapa?
step it up
1,
too.
3, 6, 6,
The last
8,
two matches, they ended up with a 4th place in Miramar, 5 kills, and then a 3rd place in the last Erangel with 3 kills. And then we're going to go down the list a little bit more because we have Ghost Gaming. And
It's go down real
I
far to get
actually
there.
expected more. I had to give them some. To be fair, though, some of their players like Tensa usually starts to pick it up, and guess what? They start picking it up
Standar
later
layar,
at the
standar
day.
layar.
Today, I feel like it's day 2. This is when usually that team shows up. So I'm hoping they make a push, and luckily for them as well,
Atau
Frost here,
patokannya
is
itu
that
apa ya?
none of
Yang
these
umum
teams
itu
are kind of
berapa kali
running away with it.
13
We have
berapa?
seen a different team win every single match. So they still have a chance to push up, and I mean the lead isn't that big. It's only 40 points, which I mean with
Enggak,
Ghost
itu kan
Gaming, I see
layar
them
apa?
being able to get
Layar
30-point wins before. It wouldn't be a surprise if we see them towards the top at the end of the day.
cuma
Yeah,
ininya
it's
tuh
all
kan dia
coming down to
5,5
just one good
inch.
game. If you can start
Dia
out
ukuran
off with
antara sini
today's
sama
first
sini.
game here, you're gonna be
1,920
good, and you're gonna be set not
80
only
itu kan
for the overall
pixelnya.
reward, but also remember that we have
Frame-nya itu
daily
berapa kali
prize
berapa?
pool as well, where
Iya.
the winner will take home
Apa ya namanya
$80,000
itu ya?
for carry day as well. So, I mean, you're not just playing for the overall leaderboard, but also daily by daily basis. So, clean slates for all the teams. no
Bandar
matter
HP itu
where you're
berapa
sitting on
inci
the
ya?
leaderboard.
Well, one team sees that clean slate and wants to rise above what they did yesterday. Our number one team at the end of the first day of regulation. It's going to be Destiny as we dive into a deeper look at them and the stats that they had in their first day of play. And Fresh, I mean, he did on Unicorn's Love. He's doing it with Destiny. 2,000 damage. He's leading his team completely here, guys.
Yeah, we saw him yesterday already in the first game. I think that's when Sam was talking about him having almost like 700 damage in that game alone. But after that, it dropped off a little bit. But as you can see, all the others are stepping up as well. Even if they're not having as much damage, it's still having the impacts with the knocks, with the kills. That's what matters. If you look at the average time of all of the teammates as well, it's pretty even. That's what we want to see because that means that they're all four basically all up throughout the whole game. And if you have all four up, it's going to be so much easier to take on any team towards the end of the games.
No, and I mean, we have Mihi too with 10 kills, being able to tie that up with Fresh. I thought that was huge. And that's what something that I was going to go back to a little bit here with Destiny is that they have players in there that they can pop off even if the team overall is having a bad performance. We saw that happen with Fresh once again on the first match, and then on the second match we saw another teammate being able to step it up and convert those damage points into actual kills, which leads them to more points. And guess what? They did end up being in first place.
Can I tell you a story about Mihi?
Story time.
Story. I remember we were talking to him one day, I think it was after the matches, and he was telling us about how he was being driven home from work by his mom while playing in the PMPL matches over in Western Europe. Like, this man is insane. The dedication to be playing even while being driven home, to still perform like he does. This team is definitely a team to watch out for. But there's even another team, hailing from Mexico, that we have to keep an eye out for, as we talked about with the solar leaderboards. It's Chivas, and this team, I mean, again, they kind of come out of nowhere. That's kind of the upside, right? The best part of these global events, of having these invitationals as well, as you get to see teams you normally wouldn't notice when you're just focused on watching, PMPL North America. I mean, obviously, if you're watching PMPL Latin America, you would see them. But you don't really get to see some of these teams on a global scale, and this team has proven that there are some damn strong players and damn strong teams when it comes to Mexico.
Kalau pemain
There are, I
hasilnya,
mean, we can go
kalau
straight
yang
from
langsung
Fran.
mainnya
Fran was
rasionya
able to put
16.
up 1600 damage. The only thing that I want to see
19.
today out of Fran is being able to convert those knockouts. You can see he was able to knock out 10 people yesterday, but was only able to convert 4. If they're able to step it up even more on kills, this is going to be a team to be reckoned with, especially if they continue the performances in Ariel. If we go back to the stats from yesterday, second place, and then I believe it was the 6th place.
Ini sih yang
But
paling umum ini, Mas.
throughout those matches, they were still able to get kills, which I thought was really impressive for that team. Usually, when we see a team like this that play passive, they're not able to get as many kills. I was actually very shocked when I saw them being able to at least get consistent over 3 kills throughout every match yesterday. Today, I would like them to get a win, Frost. This is what we've been talking about with this team. Being able, you already got second places twice a year ago. We know that you were able to get the win. It's just, can this team turn it on? Can this team just flip the switch and become aggressive when they need to be? We saw them yesterday on their second place finish on Ariel. They ended up losing to Alpha 7, even though Alpha 7 was mostly on their back against the wall throughout the whole time. Hopefully this team can make that switch today, because if they are able to make that switch, this is a team that they can definitely end up getting a win.
Not only do I want to see them being a little bit more aggressive towards the end game, because that's when you definitely need to be more aggressive. I don't care if you're a little bit passive towards the early game, the mid stage of the games, because you're keeping everybody alive towards the later stage of the game, towards the end game. And when you get there, you gotta be able not only being aggressive, but also take more ground. Yesterday we saw time after time, they were grouping up a lot, and they were playing all together as one unit, but there's one bad thing with that, and that is like any other team that's looking towards you, they only need to look for one angle to find all of you. You want to make sure that you get those flanks, broaden out a little bit, make sure that you get a lot of ground, a lot of control. If you have that, that win, it's going to come so easy for him today.
Speaking of wins, we did have 2 teams have wins yesterday. Alpha 7 Team K, so the rivalry between Argentina and Brazil when it comes to PUBG Mobile is still alive here at the PMWI. We're going to take a closer look at these 2 teams and their stats against each other on our lovely little radar. And you can see that it's relatively close in some aspects, but the damage, I think Revo probably has the majority of that in his favor for Alpha 7, giving them the lead.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Rebel get, 1,500 damage in one match yesterday, and being able to put up a lot of those kills for his team, too. The one thing with Alpha 7 that didn't end up working out, and the one stat that we're actually not able to see here, is the survival time. Team Queso is currently leading this engagement here between those two. Even though Alpha 7 has been able to be the more aggressive and the one that's able to knock out more people, something that didn't end up working out for them yesterday was Myanmar, the Myanmar that we played yesterday, and also the last Erangel. They ended up getting just pretty much caked out super early, and were only able to get one kill. I think that's why Rebel wasn't able to get that MVP, if I'm really thinking about it. But going back now to Team Queso. Team Queso, the one match that I'm going to be looking at closely today is Sandhawk. For some reason, this team loves playing super passive in Sandhawk, and sometimes it can be a great thing, and sometimes it can really hinder them. And I noticed yesterday when they decided to be the aggressor team, when they decided to just trust their skills and trust what they're able to do as a team, they pretty much came out on top every single time. So what I want to see out of Team Queso is, hey, don't be scared of taking on fights. Yesterday, pretty much almost every single fight that you were able to be the aggressor to start with, you were able to win. With Alpha 7, it comes down to a player's thing. We always talk about Carrillo being the MVP of that team. Well, guess what? Carrillo was kind of hidden yesterday. He was hiding. He was somewhere else because he only ended up with 3 kills overall yesterday. And I feel like today,
You know what? Team Queso, they're third on the overall in kills, in terms of kills right now. And we know that they're really good on getting those kills. I want to see them be just a little bit more aggressive and trying to get even more kills. But on the other hand, we talk about A7.
Kopiku
I think they need to either finish up their fights a little bit quicker or try to back off, because we saw yesterday, time after time, their fights got dragged out.
Bal, ada ini nggak, Bal?
Down to one player from time to time, and those times it was a little bit shaky. It was a little bit nail-biter to look at them and see like, okay, are you gonna be able to recover? But somehow they managed to recover time after time. And today I hope that they can just like either finish off the fight there or back off and take a new approach to it.
You're referring to the Alpha 7 versus Beta power fight we had happen on our first match of the day yesterday. You even said the winner of that fight is going to come out as the victors of that match, taking home a chicken dinner. You were right, but not in that sense, because the team that did clean up that fight was Rose and Mori, which is what we're going to be talking about now here, and take a closer look at their stats. They came out with a great third-party cleanup kills to get themselves a chicken dinner at the end of that day.
Kotaknya ini loh, jatuh ini susah banget ya. Ngepasin kotaknya seberapa berarti?
Now, I will say this.
Ini loh, perbandingannya berapa banding berapa, Bal?
Sini.
Berapa coba?
There's no huge standout player. Yes, so Chapa has most damage.
gambar dong kita.
Hah? Iya.
Emang nanti bentuknya jadi begitu ininya.
Enggak, ini harus ini nanti mau kebesarkan gitu loh, Pak. Pas belum mulai acara gitu.
Bahas miringnya ini.
Enggak, ini loh kotaknya ini loh, Pak.
Oh,
Kotak layarnya yang muncul nanti loh. Kan kita harus ngepaskan untuk dia kan nanti. Gambar kan. Kira-kira dulu.
ini bisa dihitung.
I want to see more from them today. What they did in the first game, for example, with that rotation, coming in third party, perfect timing to the perfect spot, knowing that this is the spot where we're gonna win the game from. We need to take this fight,
Untuk
but
kayak
we
ini.
just gonna wait for the right timing, and when that is, that's when we strike and we'll just win the game.
Bapak nanti
easily.
potong.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right there for me. It becomes to El Chapo. If this team can just maintain El Chapo alive a little bit longer, with the stats he's being able to pull up, we could have somebody that's going to be contending for that MVP as well. And something to keep in mind too that I want to see RTG. The only time they ever passed 3 kills was on their first match that they actually ended up winning. They ended up with 8 kills overall. After that, it was either 2 kills, 3 kills, and then at 1 they actually ended up with 0 kills. So if they can keep El Chapo alive a little bit longer, oh man, it's gonna be interesting what they're able to do towards the end of the game.
Well, speaking of him, luckily we have an interview that was done before the event began to talk to him about his team hailing from Morocco before the event kicked off. We'll check in with that when we come back. We have our first match ready to go.
Yang PUBG.
Since we brought a new member, we started playing like as much as we can to improve the synergy of the team, and that's the really most important thing. Otherwise, everyone is working on his individual skills, trying to play the game as much as he can. And for the team, we play around 3 scrims a day. Depends on our schedule if we have
Ini buat apanya, buat
tournaments.
muka live streamingnya?
But we try to play
Oh,
as much as we can.
dia nama
We watch the other teams how they play and we try to work it out.
Sebelum dimulai kan kita beberapa.
what makes us strong as a team is that we play together since a long time. Like at least 4 of us played together since more than 1 year, and we have a good teamwork. And as they say, teamwork makes dream work. That's what we're strong at. And we're trying to, on our game side, is trying to get as much placement points as we can. We play on position more than vice. We are playing the tournament to represent our country, Morocco, in our best way. And we will try our best to get our best results and maybe be on top 5 teams.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're ready to go as we're getting into
Bikin gua
our
layang itu.
first matchup here for the day. I'm invariably joined by Mustache Dave. Day number
Oh.
1. It's pretty darn stellar, Dave, and I'm excited to see how things continue to progress here into day number 2. It's a little bit more of an opportunity to study their opponents, look at their rotations, and I expect to see those little mistakes we saw on day number 1 get cleaned up just a little bit.
Exactly. Yesterday, kind of the main theme was, hey, it's only day number 1, so some teams, they like to start late. Today, we're 50% done with this event, so we can't really use that excuse anymore. And I spoke to a couple teams that mid-pack bottom on the leaderboards. They told me, Dave, we're looking to correct these tiny little mistakes and make that climb up that leaderboard here today. So, like you said, Paul, today is going to be a huge day for some of these bottom teams.
And there's still so many opportunities. We've still got 15 games left over the next 3 days. Chances for teams to change their fortunes. Those spots down towards the bottom of the pack, nothing is set in stone. But after today, this halfway mark, the squads that are on that first page, it's going to get a little bit tougher. We'll keep an eye on them as we get into our very first game here on Erangel. Will the teams that the analysts highlighted at the start of the show step up, or will some of these other squads take the cake? Or, in this case, the chicken dinner.
Up, game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, day number 2, PUBG Mobile World Invitational. This is the west side of things. Of course, powered by Gamers Without Borders. 5 games here today. Paul. Yesterday, Pachinki, Guns versus Ghost. We saw in the final map of the evening, Guns actually got wiped out from Ghost. The other 2 air goal maps, both teams kind of went their separate directions. So I'm curious, what's going to unfold here today in the 3 air goal maps?
Part of me wants Guns to go in guns blazing. I want to see them go aggressive. I want to see them try and take an early fight here just to show, just to prove to themselves and to Ghost
Jadi aku jago
that
ya
they
kalau
can hang, that they can contest this squad here at this shared drop spot. That's what I want to see from them. Who knows? We may end up playing a little more passive. We may end up splitting a little bit with this playing path, Dave. Anything is possible.
And I was kind of looking at the numbers. Guns, they're in 12th place, was surprisingly outplayed shot. The most grenades used out of the entire lobby. Currently sitting at like 50, right behind on Team Queso. And I was kind of looking at that because Destiny, first place at the top. They've only used 28 grenades, so I'm curious if they're not even using that much utility. Once when they start to ramp up that grenade usage, like what can Destiny do? Like right now, they're 5 points ahead of that second place.
jadi nggak pentingin
Representing
jadi
Germany,
sekarang
today's a
ya.
huge day for that squad.
And as much as that's a statement about Destiny's lack of grenade usage, it's also a statement of how many grenades are Guns missing. They're throwing 50. They don't have that many kills.
Itu siapa nih di halaman pertamanya?
How many of those frags are we missing there? Yeah, that is a 10% or 20%.
Ini kan nanti
Just assuming it was just grenades, that is a 20% kill rate. So it's even less. It's way less. So, yeah.
You miss every shot you don't take, right? That's the bottom line here.
Michael Scott, yes.
Here they are. Guns versus Ghost, you know.
Terus kalau misalnya
That
dikasih
grenade
buat
usage, we already see them trying to loot up. I think if they want to ramp up that grenade usage and hit those shots, this is the time to do it.
Biasanya custom
Pachinki,
kan?
close and personal
Enggak,
with
timnya udah
Ghost
fix.
Gaming. Maybe even some
Maksudnya
bonus too.
lawan-lawannya itu
Section them off, and
squad
once
A
we get
ketemu
maybe
squad
one
apa gitu.
player section
Kan
off,
masih
then
belum
also collapse. You know, use
udah
your
bisa
numbers
temen
advantage to take them out. So
yang tadi sampai
hopefully both
udah bisa
teams
mindah-mindahinnya.
went back, watched the VOD,
Cuma kan
watched
harus
the
dikocok.
movement that each team had yesterday,
Enggak, modelnya
and
tuh
they're
nanti
gonna come back
klasik.
today even cleaner.
Kostum, ya udah kostum
I
aja.
think of all the
Double
teams
dong.
in the lobby that I
Anu,
think that is true
nanti
for. I think
pen
it's
and
true
quicknya
for
manual
Ghost.
aja.
You know that Bayo has spent the
Tetep bandnya
last
10,
day
5
analyzing
5 hero di kiri,
rotations,
5 hero di
looking
kanan.
at it, seeing how it'll
Kita
play,
tulis
and
misalnya
how they want
on to
Kamu lawan Mas Abi
execute
nih.
themselves,
Iya.
and then what teams that might fight where, and then maybe make some adjustments on their own end
Sama kamu
in
dulu
order
sebelum
to.
masuk ke
I don't
anu
want to say
nih.
catch. I do want to say
Sebelum
catch
masuk
some of
ke
the teams that they probably
pemilihan,
deem weaker
kamu pilih
in order to get
ngeband
some of
hero
those
apa
makeup
dulu satu hero
points in
pertama.
terms of kills, wiping some
Bo,
squads early. So that's what I'm
Ben.
keeping an eye on. I think Ghost Gaming, not
Sama
the
yang lain
strongest
juga.
of day
Cuman
number ones,
kelemahannya
but I
semua
expect
hero-nya
that to very
nggak
much
kebuka
change
semua
here
ya.
too.
Yeah.
And it comes
Iya.
down to just like the unpredictable factor.
Ya nggak apa-apa.
When we
Apa
look
lah.
at all the
Paling nanti
teams
manual
representing
band
all the
Xbox.
different countries or
Nanti Mas Abi band
regions,
2 nih.
you know, you're just not used to going
Apa?
up against
Sama
Hero
aja kan
AB.
kayak kita
like
pesan kan.
PMPL,
Iya,
same
sama kayak
region,
itu
you
aja
play in the same
dibuatnya.
lobby,
Cuman
60
bedanya
games, right?
manual,
You only
nggak
got
by
20
system.
games here. Yes, they had scrims, but
Manual
you
maksudnya.
said it, scrims.
Iji catet.
Players, they
Kamu
use it
ngeband
to
Xbox,
practice
tulis
new
Xbox,
things,
band.
not that
Berarti nanti
bread
kalau
and butter.
tapi nanti
So,
kan pas
I
pas
think
Pikiro kan
after yesterday,
Xbox
I
tuh
agree
muncul.
100%.
Ya kan ya berarti itu udah nggak boleh dipilih karena ada di band.
Oh, manual gitu.
So today is going to be a big day
Nanti
for
misalnya
that
kamu first pick kan pick
USA.
pertama kan satu hero kan.
I'm sure
Kayak
there
apa
are a lot
misalnya
of
pick
the
Layla.
fans who are
Nanti
cheering
kanannya udah nggak boleh
on
pick Layla.
the first step. The first hurdle
Gitu
they
loh.
have to overcome, of course, is get out of Pachinki alive.
Apa enggak? Anu kan waktunya bentar aja tuh.
Iya makanya sebelum
Sebelum main tuh
sebelum
minta
masuk
dulu.
anu dulu
Datangin
nanti kan di zoom kalau misalnya kaptennya sama kapten sama wasit mau ngeband apa nah, sambil ditulis nanti. Jadi nanti di anu udah tinggal main aja, tinggal pilih hero yang tadi udah dipilih.
Of course, because of the centralized drop location, frees up so many options for this next rotation, as it is a southeastern circle. All of military still in play, and not a single team over there yet, which I can't say I'm super surprised by, because rotating over and having to rotate back is hyper risky. But we'll take a look at how this circle continues to move. It is hyper risky.
Itu pakai apa Mas? Pakai?
Fingers crossed last night to get that military base. If there was going to be one team that can really truly capitalize on a military circle, I'd say Onyx. You know, dead last about 3 kills all day yesterday. They like to go Primors. We tend to see them going for those ultra wide rotates all the way up there to the north. But with this zone, if I am Team Onyx, I think I might as well just, you know, throw all my eggs in that basket and be like, all right, let's go military base. Let's just do it. And they can do that easily. Take a boat from Primors. They can avoid Team Queso. They don't need to use that bridge. And if it does go south, that would be huge for that squad, Team Onyx. The high risk, high reward
Oh iya,
play
nanti
coming
datanya
into
kan
today with only
tinggal kirim ke
4
lawan
points. That was the
yang
kind of
mana
play
nggak
you
boleh
need to make
dipakai.
in order to get yourself
Enggak kan
back.
nanti kan
I
kan
agree,
by
because
zoom.
right now the other option is
Zoom
either
nih
fighting to
kapten
Ghost,
A, kapten B
Guns, or
sama
Queso.
wasit.
None of those are great
Sepakatin
options for you
dulu.
at this point. Let's
Mau
be real.
dipakai ini
So
buat
I
nanti
absolutely wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't hate
hero-nya
going
disepakati
for it,
apa
going
yang
down.
mereka
Of
yang
course,
tim
the
A
chance of getting
pakai,
bridge
tim B
camp on the way
pakai.
back is certainly there, but at the same time,
Nanti
if it
pilih
should
mereka itu.
rotate down, you can play that
Karena
bridge
kita nggak
camp
bisa
role,
kostum
and you can
turnamen,
try
jadi
and
harus
get some
manual.
kills, be that gatekeeper.
Minta
Stop
dari
those
awal
squads
lagi
from
Mas.
rotating, and we'll keep an eye on that though. It's
Iya
not
sebelum
something
masuk
that's
ke
more
room.
likely
Jadi
to
sebelum
be on
masuk
the
ke room
main
kan
land, but we'll keep an
zoom
eye on
dulu
how
nih
these
antara
teams
kapten.
are rotating, as we are seeing Ghost doing just that. And so far, being able to thread the needle pretty well moving into this next circle. They're already getting out ahead of their opponents. Good option for Onyx if they want to get an early water break here today, because like you said, there's a bunch of strong teams already repositioning out here on the west. Another squad, very interesting position, Konita Power. They're going to be somewhat centering up on the coast near that east bridge, so they're kind of hoping that some teams might go to military base, but we'll get back to that. We got some drive-bys. What is, Guns just decided to pull a Yui. It goes stop for it. They got punished. Spec is knocked. This is actually huge. The two teams that decided not to fight in Pachinki are fighting right here on the road. Here I was complimenting Ghost rotation, but Guns just literally pulled a 180, drove right past him. You could tell Ghost wasn't paying attention. The reaction time was hyper delayed. Bayo took a ton of damage. Spectre is dead. And just like this is an opportunity for Guns Esports to take down their fastly budding rival here on Erangel. They know exactly where Ghost is at. They're going to pop tires. This is big. That's one of those moments where you might have been looking at that mini-map repositioning and kind of coming up with a strategy on the fly to see where you want to go. And I almost feel like as if Guns kind of followed Ghost gaming out of Pachinki. They recognize, okay, they're moving on out. Because almost immediately, Guns also popped in some vehicles and we started to see them rotate. Now, we see them pop those tires. That's huge. I mean, that is utility taken away from Ghost. So, essentially, Ghost, they're safe for now. Okay, they're safe for now. Good spot. But eventually, they'll probably have to move on out of here. And without vehicles, they're not going to be able to move very quickly. So, depending on how many resources, how much time, frags, guns they want to devote to this, they could camp out guns for some time, or Ghost Gaming for some time.
Yeah, that clan tag is an absolute bait. I 100% agree. One thing for both of them is Ghost Gaming did a good job of laying down a smoke there and actually moving their vehicles. I don't know how many tires they were actually able to pop. Second thing, they're dead center of this next circle, and Ghost has a compound. So while on paper, at a distance, it might look like Guns is in a favorable position because they were able to get the kill. Now, Guns is actually exposed on the coast. So if they get third party here by like a Team Queso, this could actually be bad for them. As you can see, Ghost is dead center there. So not actually.
Lambat cepet jawab.
They obviously just would have loved to be able to get to that compound without losing a player.
Guns, though, I feel like have a lot more room to work with, though, right? They have a lot more room. They're not going to be back against the wall. Next circle goes up, so both Guns and Ghost, they're looking pretty good. I'm telling you, I need to be the Onyx coach right now. I told them, take the boat. Like, right now, we see military base about, what, 75% in this zone? Nobody there. We see Team Queso, we see 19E. Oh, they're trying to make the move. They're trying to claim that nice prime power position right now, but we gotta push. We gotta pull up.
We do indeed. The northern portion of the circle here, Chivas, who've done so well on Erangel yesterday, a bit of a rough position because they're split as a team. RTG is here. Prime and some nades.
Kamu datang jam 5 besok. Ngocok kan kamu kapten.
Not quite appreciating that their opponents are outside of the next building. Pod having some trouble on the road. As we see Team Queso able to
Mainnya
get
nggak sore, cuma ngocoknya doang.
that U-turn
Sama
of their
ngasih tau
own.
goals
And this is the
soal
position that Team
Ben
Queso is in
Epic-nya.
right now that Onyx could have been in.
Sama pas
What
main
could have
harus
been.
zoom.
Huge
Harus
potential,
kelihatan
though.
biar
Team
ketahuan
Queso
nggak di
now
joki.
set up that bridge camp, but Shivas, two of their squad mates still not grouped up. A little hesitant in the back line, so it's going to be essentially a 4v2. Very challenging.
Yes, indeed, and the nades are flying back and forth. One knock to start that off, and the kill confirmed. Beautiful play there from Chivas. Able to take this down to a 2v3. But where's the rest of the squad? That's my question. They're rolling up right now, so they will have some backup here. As you can see coming in from the outside, and just like this, RTG, their slower, patient play, not willing to take the numerical advantage, will now be
Tenang, aku nanti main serius lah, tenang.
but a nice pop out there from Marshall. Scar
Kontrol jangan serius oh
try and level this playing field just a little bit more.
Kita ngetrol. Kalau ngetrol. Johnson Badang ya, aku main hyper ya. Ya, oke. Enggak, ini dulu kita match 1 serius. Cari skor dulu 1 nih. Kan dari nonton. Match 1 serius nih, cari skor dulu 1. Match 2 baru ngetrol. Badang, aduh. Johnson. Bikin kesel komnya.
What can they get done? Nice pre-fire around the corner, but a great double peek in response to the nade to clean it up.
Nice grenade right there.
Buktinya mau
Nice
jadi
grenade.
mobil,
Yeah,
nah.
El Chapo.
Mobilnya tuh tukang nabrak, habis nabrak lari. Kalau misalnya ketabrak jadi musuhnya kestun, nggak bisa bergerak.
I guess the highest damage done, but right there could have definitely used their help in that anchor position you called out right there. So we'll see. We'll see what will end up happening. Shiva's though very consistent
Tapi
on
aku lihat kamu anunya,
It's a good
anu
thing
guys.
considering Aragorn makes up 60%
Kalau kamu main tank, kalau yang kita main serius, picknya 2 aja.
for our
Kalau nggak Halo sama
World Invitational. Now,
Mas Gap,
around, Konina Power,
kemarin
they
ngedit
did make their way
yang
across
di
that
OBS
bridge
tuh
on
di
the
mana ya?
side. Pretty good, but here's the opposite end of that bridge.
Iya, di layoutnya yang gimana?
Pokoknya yang
kan
kita 3 match.
going up against Alpha
Kalau
7.
1-1 nambah lagi jadi
Carrillo
2.
can
Itu kan
shake
jadi
off
3
the
match.
jitters that you saw in Day.
Pokoknya kita cari angka menangin dulu 1-0.
Doing a fantastic job.
1-0 game
Still
kedua
continuing to
ngetrol.
keep his team
Kita bisa game 2 habis ngetrol kalah, game 3 serius lagi gitu.
place. As we're looking towards this next circle, Dave, we center up. Both Landmasters still play a ton of water as well. This is a pretty toxic circle, I'm not gonna lie.
Toxic scale is at like a 9 out of 10. But look at his fight. MZ
Sampai
really
nonton
like that
nyari
position.
bug dong.
They're able to gather a
Anu,
ton of
Johnson
information.
sama
They
Bro.
need to make sure
Iya,
don't get
bisa
knocked
pindah ke
over.
tengah
Now
langsung.
we get the cover fire.
Ke level kali. Enggak. Ada
Still.
apa? Wijaya,
But they're
Wijaya.
still somewhat pinned on the side of the cliff right here. And because of the way Clash is positioned, it's going to make it so hard that one off-angle player
Jadi
is creating so much
dia tuh
pressure. Terminus
kalau
is
kita
getting
kan
down
kalau
after
kita main
down.
kan kelihatan tuh Johnson mau sudah berubah tuh kan kelihatan di map tuh.
Reposition play
Tapi kan di
from Clash.
base.
I think
Nah.
Alpha 7 maybe thought
Enggak,
they were going to
tiba-tiba di
completely
tengah.
bail on this fight, but no, it was
Oh,
a
tahu-tahu
grenade.
kelihatannya dari
And
tengah.
just like this,
Udah
Alpha 7
muncul di
is a
tengah,
champion.
jadi
This is the opportunity Clash
ngebugnya
need
gitu.
to push in right now. Get together, go.
Kalau Johnson kan kamu mau ulti buka ulti di mana aja bisa di bawah kelihatan awal-awal itu kan. Kalau dulu nggak kelihatan lah.
Iya, grenade in hand. Ooh, you might want to swap back over to that UMP. Their teammates in the vehicles getting run over. Volleys are everywhere. The fire through the smokes, able to come out on top. They should be able to get the pickup on their squad mates. Clash. Woo, talking about mopping the floor. Alpha 7, my goodness.
Mas, tanya dulu mas.
Yeah, taken out here to show. I want the record to show Terminus did down his own
Pak Ude pindah sini aja
Just
ngobrol.
want the record to show still simple.
Iya Pak, mau deh nggak sini aja Pak.
Just like
Kita
this.
membutuhkan kakak datel kita yang paling baik.
Not clear. Yeah, too
I'm
speedy.
clear. Too speedy. Too quick. Too
Atau
quick.
enggak kita bakar aja posat daripada pindah.
Yeah, the zone though. Konina Power. Look at that. They're on the east side of
Ayo
the
dong.
bridge. Flash up there. We're gonna have a lot of teams over here on that west side now. All kind of taking the same passageway to try to get into a circle. It's gonna be a challenge.
It is indeed. So we're
Yang
taking
mana
a
itu
look
Mas?
at how
Yang
teams
Mas?
are trying to
Bisa,
rotate in. A lot of
paling-
squads still out
paling
in the
ini
blue,
nih.
looking towards 19E.
Utamanya
Next to
harus-
Gaming.
harus
Chivas now
dia-
forced to
kira-kira
late
kemana
rotate
berapa?
on that
Nih,
western
misalnya
bridge.
kita
Of course, Godsend and Guns still over on the mainland. They are bogged
Yeah.
down outside of this next zone. They're in a bit of a rough spot here, Dave. There's a lot of open ground and to try and traverse. Very little cover to be had.
Not only that, like, where do you go?
Belum di tengah.
Because you're gonna run
Bloknya pakai rifle tuh.
because Ghost Gaming are looking across the
Kok
channel.
bisa begitu?
See, guns,
Di skill
they
gua
do
tuh. Kalau bloknya pakai rifle.
real indecisive right here.
Yeah. This one's gonna be tricky. I'm not seeing a war from any of these teams.
Kok bisa begitu?
Right now survive. Maybe UDR killers if they can make some play on the bridge.
Botnya
Well,
kayak
it's able to
keren
make it
dong
across
botnya.
though, but they're taking a lot of
Dari
damage.
base langsung
Chivas
pindah ke
19
tengah.
still out in blue. This one's gonna be tough, Dave, as we're seeing Guns now in the last ditch send, and we get the center up. It's on Military Island, and like I said, those teams on that mainland, they are not long for this world.
Goes game-winning position
Berarti hasilnya
right
benar ya
here.
tadi?
Same thing with Konina Power. So we'll have to keep
Ini hasil yang tadi
them as
yang
all
kamu buat
these
nih,
teams
masuk
up
web
here on
3.
the mainland. It's gonna be a bloodbath. Right now, main objective for me, if you're not in this circle, go for those kill points. That's all you can do here. That's all you can do to offset the risk of getting taken out early. 13th position, that's 0 points, Paul. 0.
Absolutely none. The big goose egg, which means you got to do it with your own two hands. You got to put the pressure on your opponents. We're looking to see.
Ini kan memang
I
sebenarnya
like it. Do that here for Godsend. See if they can find the shots. Nice movement though, coming up from Moody and crew. Potentially having the advantage here if they can find the angle, but one of their teammates is down.
Very nice movement. At the end of the day, UDR, they're hearing this, and they're going to use this opportunity to swim across the channel. So, both these squads, God sent guns. Yeah, it's like, they're just spending a lot of time out here, but they're forced to. They don't have an option, and now here comes the blue zone to apply that additional pressure.
Pak, ini
It's
bisa.
gonna, ramp up those barriers.
Langsung dicopot. Iya.
Did see Sandro for you.
Ya.
Third-party kill.
Untung aku nggak lihat kamu ya.
Player there, but will send it with the rest of
Apa
the
ya?
squad. I thought for a second might actually play
Apa ya?
spoiler and play
Tadi
the
aku lihat
last
kayak ada
ditch
gambar
defender.
kelihatan
There is a
kelinci
boat
gitu.
as well.
Ya,
This could actually be huge, except for what you pointed out
Kelinci kan,
earlier, Dave. Ghost Gaming
nggak lihat
in the
backgroundnya ya?
prime position to stop any team making a last ditch send across the way. As Ralph was trying to go for the shoulder.
Apa foto dia? Lihat lagi foto dia
However,
dengan
Moody is
perempuan gitu.
still there, and just like that, into the water, he's gonna destroy the boat as well, likely. Wow, that is bitter.
Talk about the BM right there. I mean, UDR, they're already swimming away, right? They're already like, okay, we can't take the boat, but Moody making sure to get the blow up. And like you said, Ghost kind of playing that Coast Guard role. Now, one thing I want to know, I do see Yala from Team Queso rolling up on the Ghost, so that might cause a little bit of a distraction and allow Guns, the two players at UDR, the two players to safely swim across the
Mas
channel.
Ayub nih kalau ketemu orang aku takutnya kalah
An
duluan.
eye on
Tapi
that.
buahnya ada yang jago nggak sih
Flash trying
timnya?
to make a play into Konina Power. Nice shots though coming out from Nomi. That MVP star power play coming in, not missing a shot, not getting hit either. Great movement.
Gimana tadi?
So looking at
Siapa
the
ya?
last player, MZ all the way down
Oh,
the
ini pakai
line.
Photoshop.
If you can spot him here though. Right now, his goal is all about survival.
Ganti nama.
They still have all 4 players up.
300-an?
They're very split.
Emang kamu ganti nama?
And here comes Destiny as well, right underneath the bridge to kind of make matters worse. And I felt
Lah
like
kan tahu
Flash we saw earlier, they had a lot of time.
Lah kan kamu udah tahu timnya
reposition
Arai
early, but
kontennya
they decided to
Julian
hold back
Togel tuh.
just a little bit.
Iya.
No meat on that bridge.
Ini kan banyak yang
Yeah,
diganti nih
MZ,
gitu.
I don't know where you're going, but maybe looking for a boat,
Kemarin nggak bisa
possibly.
kita ganti Jai.
We'll have to see.
Tapi mereka bisa.
That wide route from Grenada Power at least is doing
Penggantinya
some
bisa,
talking
penggantinya.
about Destiny potentially causing some
Malah bingung
havoc
kemarin
on the
cari
bridge,
tim
but
mereka
instead
tuh.
they're just target practices. We have the wide route. The issue is
Pokoknya
Flashy
kamu-
did end up going down to the outside. Nobody's going
Pokoknya
to
nanti yang
try and get
aku
the revive
anukan
there as
ke
Axer applies the pressure underneath the bridge. This is massive as we take a look at
Pas
where this
pas
next
udah
circle is
matchnya
going.
harus
But
ada
great
di
shots
split.
that M4
Kalau orangnya nggak sesuai di
That's 2 members
anu
down
nggak apa-apa,
now
yang
for
penting berlima
Destiny.
aja.
One big nade here. And Mihi could be dropped. Let's keep an eye on it. Way too far, but he still sees
Enggak,
it.
maksudnya
Still
yang
gets
penting
the
harus
shot there.
dulu.
Axer, the one-man wrecking crew, shooting fish in a barrel. Yeah, Mihi hitting that
Duanya
right
mungkin
there.
ngejoki nggak sih, masa
These
turnamen
smokes
have fun gini
can't
ngejoki sih?
provide that
Enggak,
much
iya.
cover, especially with
Kalau
the
takutnya nggak ada
enemy
angin
right
bisa
above
cari
you.
yang
Next
lain.
zone goes up though. Grenada Power, good
Party kemarin
spot.
di
They are all split though, so they don't
Iya
have a lot
kan?
of time to
Kurang
get
ajar
back
langsung
up. Ghost
pipa.
Gaming, I'm still concerned with them because they're going to be rolling into the zone like a wrecking ball. And their main kind of objective right now, they need to make sure to win that fight against Team Queso if they want to move into this next zone alive.
And that's where I want to look right now. These two teams are about to clash. Ghost did already lose one, I believe it was, to Team Cases. We can see the ball running by right now. Clash does eventually go down, bleeding on the outside, just trying to survive for points. And Team Cases is actually going to bypass it. They're going to go with the Rahad. Oh, this is massive. Absolutely huge, because this is the compound that Ghost Gaming would have wanted to have rotated to. But Team Q, with a fantastic IGL call, is actually going to outpace them and push in ahead. Rima doesn't see his opponent, though. Blocks the grenade with his body and kills them both with an accidental mastery. But will get taken out here. And now the third party is coming in from Ghost. Team Queso was too slow. Dave, this is the one play they absolutely had to execute to perfection, and they're slipping.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a full set right there. They committed everything to getting this building, getting this compound, but all 4 members in
Nah,
one
sebenarnya
little
kalau
tiny building,
nontonnya
you
hasilnya
open
layak
yourself
gitu.
up to just getting grenaded to death, and that's exactly what's
Jelek
happened.
dong.
Not only that, to make matters worse, 19E down there to the south, taking some shots. You even got
Kalau bikin
Onyx
panjang
on the
full gini
outskirts
gitu.
showing up. So, honestly,
Potret
that's
gitu.
like best case scenario for Ghost Gaming, because now they can play Edge.
And they have this entire edge of the circle as well. Beast from Destiny was
Itu udah
actually able to
pas
sneak
datang
their way in as well.
online ya.
So that could be a factor.
Nggak
Team
di
Queso was able to stabilize a little bit. They did just spot him out. Nice play
paling
there.
kamu Ray.
So that is no potential third party coming in from behind. And this has accidentally worked out fantastic for Ghost Gaming. Rather than having to play a long, drawn out war to try and get to the edge of the circle, up on the high ground, Team Queso went rolled away past them and just broke on the walls. That was Rahad in this compound. Didn't play it well, got third party, played it too slow. And just like this, Ghost is once again in a fantastic position, but Grenada Power can't look past them either.
And not only that, beautiful dip that Ghosts are holding. They can keep those vehicles alive just in case they need to use that utility moving forward. And Grenada Power, same could be said. Same could be said. Nice little dip. The thing is, though, they do have Fashay way down there, separated from them. So maybe holding that spot just in case the zone does shift in their direction. But looking around, Shivas, talk about consistency. Still alive. And they're running into Onyx, but look at that. From the window, the M4 spray.
Yeah, and it was actually, I mean, did most of the work there. As we're seeing Ghost Gaming actually picking up and taking that kill. Nice, solid, crisp, clean M16 shots. His team Queso is getting a little bit of revenge as well. The nade down onto Rahad, trying to take over the rest of this compound. For this point, I think Team Queso just need to hold tight because, Dave, they did get this circle. So did Grenada Power. They are in a prime power position.
At this point, Team Queso, they baked the cake and they say, hey, we're sorry. We didn't mean to upset you. And they just want to be neighbors for the time being, especially in this next circle. So those buildings are in play. So now Ghost, they need to reposition. They're going to be on the edge. And they're making their next play right here.
Masalahnya
Tapi tampilannya di sini tadi malah lurus.
This is actually huge. One player from Grenada Power going down here is a potential opportunity for Ghost
Harusnya
Gaming to
muncul di
push
sini ya,
on
berarti
in.
kamu salah nih.
Keeping an eye on this one. So we're seeing Fashe, like you mentioned, way on the outside, watching for any flanks coming in on that angle. Playing it quiet, though. Truly playing that scout role, and I appreciate that for sure. We're seeing Chivas Esports going down. I think they actually lost the fight. Extra Gaming and Onyx. Onyx is still in this day. This is their best performance yet, bar none, but they're going for the send now, and this is a full play.
Oh, trying to get that spray, and hey, they took a page out of Team Queso book, sending it straight to the mid right there. They were taken out. Looks like Ghost are going to be pulling up to his compound as well. The only difference, though, from Team Queso and Ghost, they smoked a pathway. They used their smokes to make sure that they
Tadi
can't
kita
get
belajar
sprayed
di
down on their
Vestai.
approach, and here, they're safe now, and they get a
Dia
crate.
skill dulu bro ke belakang, mentok di base. Tunggu, kan ada wrinkle tuh, tunggu seperempat sampai ke skill 2. Nah, baru jalan. Coba nanti kita lagi. Besok ya kan. Tabrak kalau pas saya tabrak dia terus. Coba tapi siapa pakai badan. Gue tabrak, itu tonjok buruknya sampai bikin item aja. Damage ya? Damage ya?
Oh, that could be it. There it is. Could be it. I want to say though, Konita Power, they have so much zone control right now. We saw a couple of months ago, one of their players were knocked. They made sure to prioritize getting them picked up right here. For the most part, they're controlling the whole east side. They got it. They got it.
Nice shots coming up from Nomi, not able to secure the down on the last two members of 19E, who, again, G-Fan just channeling that Nomi esports love, surviving when they absolutely should not. I'm pretty sure G-Fan plays better in a duo than literally anything else. It's actually hilarious to watch.
They get to make it. That's what they drew on the drawing board here today for 19E, and you can't blame them. Super consistent on air goal. As we're still checking in with Ghost. They're okay for the time being. They don't have to move much, but look at this. Nomi, right behind Ghost, could play such a huge spoiler to him.
I mean, the position.
They hear him, though. They hear him.
They hear him. They are aware. And instead, Konita Power is going to actually go for a wide wrap because this whole time, Fosh is playing the off angle, playing that scout role, and has been able to secure this position for the rest of the team. So rather than trying to, brute force their way through Ghost, they're going to take the more tactical approach here on the outside. But this does offer them a little bit less cover. This rock will be massive, though, as well as these smokes.
Oh, that Bashe has like a tally on an estimated number on how many enemies are down here. Bashe definitely saw the push across the
Oh iya tuh.
from 19E. So information is everything right
Gede
now.
banget.
Ya kan tadinya maunya muka dia memang.
Ghost Gaming, one drop. The nades continue to come back. Bayo lives and dies by those nades, able to set up and actually helping out 19 Konita Power here because taking out Delhop, who was a key player there. But Bayo with the unfortunate send, and just like that, how has Rod lived for this long? They have 7 kills as well. They have just been playing this stalwart defense, the bulwark that will not break.
Position, man. This compound so strong. Everybody's trying to take it from them. We did see HH with the new light machine gun. That should be able to put in some work, but it's going to have to go against the M249. Konita Power trying to crawl their way in right now, trying to get some
Kita lompat
grenades
nih. Iya.
onto 19E. 19E,
Soalnya aku
they're
belum tentu sama
awfully
Sabi.
close to each
Kalau
other.
main
One
aku dia
grenade
lupa.
could get the one.
Issue is they only have that tiny little dip to work with. They are back against the blue. They don't have a lot of options, but G-Fan able to do some damage over on Rod as well. Gotta secure the point. It does get it. This is huge. 5 kills for them as well. But here comes the push from Konita Power.
Konita Power playing the off-skirts. They do have some boulders, some cover to work with. Rahan, though, still that solo. Looking to take out Ghost. Ghost is like Tensa, thinking about going for that pickup, that revive. Here comes some more grenades from Konita Power, third party. 19E, hey, they're still up. The duo, they're surviving. You can't hate it.
They've gotten a lot of luck with these circles. They haven't really had to move for the last 4 minutes. They've just been able to ride it out. It's just like this. Rod goes down. Xenox able to usurp that kill, just take it out from underneath. And now, top 3. All of these squads doing great in terms of kills. 16 just among these last remaining teams. But it all comes down to who can get this first knock. And I'm trying to see where this next circle's going, Dave. It's really hard to tell.
We're looking at it right in the middle. Right in the middle. Everybody's on the edge right now, so it's grass.
Oh
You
ini
got some grass
jadi
to work
untuk
with. Well,
pertama
that's it.
anu ya. Pas masih
Unfortunate
penantik,
timing here for them,
kita
because heavy
ngomong
right,
dulu
everybody's got
gitu
to
ya.
move. So it all comes down to the smokes. All comes down to who can play the snake play just that little bit better. And I think if I'm Konita Power here, you're the only one with the numerical advantage, and hopefully they can keep track of kill feed enough that they know that. I would honestly I think I would take the one fight you probably know you can win. I would just hard push 19E, or Ghost. Now that knock has come through, you've got to make a call though. Going along the outside, you can't fight them both at the same time. You have to pick one. And Chief Fan's gonna drop. This is huge. She overextended, and here they go. That was the knock. They're gonna push forward. This is absolutely great power. They got that opening. This is absolutely huge. Ghost cannot intervene with this at all. The way the terrain works, the revive will not be able to go off. And just like this, 19's gonna go down. There's no way Xenox can make this one work. But he finds one, and he goes down. There it is. Beautiful play. But Dave, this is now the opportunity, the counterattack from Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, Ghost, they were able to get the reset. HH is up, and we see them rotate. But their position, the footsteps were heard. I'm curious, trying to pick up Nomi. Yes, they are. They're trying to get the numbers advantage once again here.
Zona semakin kecil.
It's absolutely huge because HH is 24. They doesn't have the meds or doesn't have the time to try and get the HP back. Because that is going to drop, but they were able to trade one for one. But it's still an advantage for Queen of Power. So beautifully did.
Resolusinya kecil banget lah ya ininya ya. Kayaknya ya, karena kita coba kalau misalnya diikutnya dibikin 1080 kali. Memang tidak
Nomi with that drop shot at the end, able to take out Tensa right there with the Uzi/on combo. Tensa was putting in the work though. I mean, we cannot discount that at all. And I'm looking back, I'm curious. The play from Bayo. We saw Bayo try to take that compound from Rahat, was caught in the vaulting animation. What if, just like what if Bayo stuck with HH and Tensa? They would have had a 3v3 at the end. Great game though. I mean, Ghost, they were third to last coming into this game. Ton of kills, great placement points. This is what they needed.
There's a reason, Dave. At the start of the show today, I said Ghost is the team I'm expecting to improve the most because they do their homework. They study their opponents, they identify what they need to do to overcome them, and they usually execute it pretty darn well. I would not be surprised if this is the day of Ghost Gaming, if they continue to turn it around. And I also think, another what-if scenario, what if G-Fan had committed so hard on that nade? He took one bullet too many, that was the first drop, that's what Queen of Power pushed. I think that was the play they should have done regardless whether they get that knock or not, because the way that terrain worked, Ghost could not have intervened. They needed to take that 3v2, it's what they ended up doing. Because of it, they took the win. Let's take a look back at our highlights though, Dave, because this first Erangel, it certainly delivered.
GG is Queen of Power, by the way. Having 3 up towards the end, they had so much zone control at the end also. Like the whole east side, they had it down packed, and it really played into their favor because of that. And GG's, that's all I can say. But looking at these highlights, yeah, this was that fight. Remember, right now, the zone, it already yoinked all the way down there to the south, so God sent no choice but to try to get some kill points there.
I mean, it's 100% the right call. There's this, you have a 50-50 decision. It's never a 50-50 decision, but you have two choices. You either try and survive, or you try and lash out like a wounded animal, get as many kills as possible before you go down yourself. That's sort of what they opted to go for here. But Queen of Power, every single position they took, Dave, they just controlled it masterfully. And the way they were able to hold their off angles, we heard Froz talking about it at the start of the show, how he wants to see teams doing a better job of splitting the position so they're not grouped together so much. Konita Power did it the best this game, bar none. The position Fasha did at the end of the game set them up for the success that they saw. They reaped the rewards, and it was these final few fights that allowed them to do it.
Oh, that Konita Power, they had like a 2-1-1. They had one up there towards the north, they had 2 on the east, then one towards the south. I noticed that the duo that was holding the east, they got both knocked out. Immediately, one of the solos, they got their vehicles, and they sent it to try to get that pickup and revive. So they were not only holding down all that terrain to themselves, if one of their squad mates was taken down in the process, they made sure to get the pickup and not just let them bleed out for nothing.
Man, I was looking at Xenox's POV there too, Dave. If he hadn't gotten flashed there, he probably would have downed like 2 members of Konita Power. That would have been absolutely massive. That would have been maybe a way different ending there for Ghost. But in the end, like you said, Dave, those decisions, how teams opted to split, taking those fights smart or not, ended in favor of Konita Power. So props to them for taking that very first game, which means we need to head to a break and then send it over to our analysts and get number 2.
Effective COVID-19 vaccines. How can we make sure they reach the people that need them most? Today, there are many vaccines in development. Most will fail. For those that could succeed, governments are under pressure to secure supplies for their populations. If governments compete for vaccines, most countries could miss out. This is not only bad for countries that cannot secure their own supplies, it's bad for us all, as no one is safe until everyone is safe. The COVAX pillar aims to ensure that every country gets fair and equitable access to eventual COVID-19 vaccines. It does this by acting as an insurance policy, with the largest portfolio of vaccine candidates in the world. Wealthier countries have a greater chance of gaining access to successful vaccines. And by pooling their buying power, rather than competing against one another, they enable investment in factories, so more doses are available as soon as a vaccine becomes available. The COVAX pillar is founded on the principle of equitable access. This means any country, regardless of their ability to pay, has the same access to vaccines. By supporting the development and manufacturing of these vaccines, wealthy countries increase their chances of getting COVID-19 vaccines and ensure the rest of the world gets access to them. Ending the pandemic as quickly as possible will take a global effort. We need as many doses as possible, as fast as possible, as soon as a safe and effective vaccine becomes available. 2 billion doses would be enough to vaccinate healthcare workers and other high-risk groups. If we start now, we can save hundreds of thousands of lives, not to mention billions of dollars. It's not about one country versus another. It's about one world protecting.
Memang belagu tapi yang penting anu lah.
I've got a difficult mission for you. Who's in? Close to 1 billion people from 92 of the world's poorest countries need to be vaccinated. You'll need to work closely with governments and health
Lebih takut
authorities,
Hellos daripada Franco.
and it will take millions of volunteers.
Kalau ada yang
And
pakai
it
Hellos
has to be
takut
cheap.
sekali. Nanti si anu biar main di anu.
This is a mission only a few organizations can handle.
Main gol.
It is the world's biggest and fastest distribution of a vaccine ever.
Udah,
Equipment
kalau
such
aku
as
di game
needles,
rame-rame,
canisters,
gak usah ke
visors,
tempatku, nanti
protective
biarin
suits,
aja
and
korban
sanitizer need to be in place first. All
Yang
of
kayak
this
Banten
has
tuh
to be
apa namanya?
transported to the most inaccessible corners of the world. The vaccine has to be kept
Kayak
cold
Banten,
constantly.
pengen Banten.
If
Oh,
not, it's all for nothing. And when the vaccine gets
Bal.
close,
Hah?
a
Bal.
population without
Itu
mobile
baru
phones
di
or
Famar.
internet needs to get the message.
Dulu orang dalam update
Thousands
sakit
of
loh.
health workers have to be trained to perform vital work.
Sampai
No
sudah
one
ada
is safe until everyone is vaccinated, so we can't stop until that's a reality.
update-nya sakit.
But even though we're doing this because lives are on the line,
Hero baru yang
this is real
anu nih yang
and
assassin
not
bagus nih.
a game.
Anu MM hero baru.
You don't get a new life if you fall, or if you drown trying to save lives.
Sakit itu.
We have no lives to
Aku main
lose,
di
but we're willing to risk a lot
aku
to
main di
vaccinate
server
all.
advance. Oh,
As long as the
yang
virus
keluar di
exists,
original
the
udah
whole world
ini belum?
is in danger.
Assassin yang keluar duluan.
Enggak di original anu.
Oh iya MM itu. MM itu.
Itu berarti masih di advance.
Di advance tuh ada 3 hero. Fighter yang kayak bangun, sakit tuh.
Banteng yang kecil
Iya.
yang jaji itu. Oh, olong ya.
Aulas. Aulas kan siapa?
Iya sakit.
Mukul tambah laju kok larinya.
Skill satunya kayak Hilda.
Dikeroyok bertiga nggak mati kalau itemnya jadi.
Kalau Balmon tuh, baik kalau kamu milih musuh, sana muter musuh nih, dapet minion. Kalau minion kamu bunuh minion, dasir dapet dalamnya nambah. Maksudnya gitu ya. Sama main Luffy juga gitu lah. Minion, kalau misalnya kamu udah mau habis nih, musuh banyak lah lawannya kan, kamu ajakin banget ke minion musuh. Kamu sekali skill 2 penuh lagi dah.
Asal berdua bisa, yang penting life skill itu ada 3.
Enggak, yang penting banyak anunya. Makin banyak musuh, makin banyak minion, makin jelas makin. Kalau cuma satu, oh.
Berapa kemarin? 130 diamond 20 aja, aku bukan 20. Kamu beli yang 57.
Yang keren apa sih? Badan yang kontak.
Kalau Satpam duluan ambil Johnson nggak apa-apa, dia pasti bawa masalah.
Iya.
Dia nggak pernah bawa lagi. Dia pasti bawa lagi. Drop aja. Skill satu
Aku
kan
sengaja
nggak bisa dihitung, nggak bisa diapa tuh. Skill satu drop kan.
dari kemarin main sama buahnya aku nggak ngeluarin dua assassin. Skip dulu.
Mereka tahu dah dia kan Gatot tuh. Gatot.
Apa sih kan?
PUBG Mobile World Invitational kicks off July 22nd to July
Ini mainnya sama
25th.
kalau udah
We
kalah gol,
prepared a special
kalah
team
duet,
cheer event for our players.
jangan
First,
terus.
let's take a deeper look at how this event works.
Penting
Invite
di
your
boost aja
friends
kok.
to support your favorite team and get awesome rewards. In this event, we will use cheer points to rank the competing teams. Fans of the team with the most cheer points at the end of the event will have a chance to get a permanent item. The event period is split between the cheer period and the reward period. The cheer period is
Kalau
from
dia sudah
July
selesai nggak bisa disitu,
15th
nggak bisa
to
diapa.
July
Udah 2 season
27th.
ini,
During
mati.
this period, players have two ways of obtaining cheer points. The first method is via daily missions. Log in
Tadi
every
itu kan
day,
bisa
watch
ngebug ya.
matches for 5 minutes at the
Ini
esports
dia
center
tengah.
to get cheer points. The second method is by sharing an invitation code with
Mau
friends.
beli yang kayak
Inviting friends to participate will also earn cheer points.
Itu udah
Every
aku
player
aku
is
SQL
limited to linking one
itu aku ada
invite code per day. The more
itu
friends
juga
that
udah
link
di
with
apa
you,
lah
the
jadi
more cheer
nggak
points
stun
you
kan
can
lah.
get. Now
Sekarang
you
udah nggak
understand
ini,
cheer points,
udah nggak stuck.
then it's time to pick out a
Kalau
team
multi,
that you want to
dulu kan
support. Lock in the team and support your team with cheer points during the cheer period to help them reach number 1. If you wish to keep up with the progress of your chosen team, then take a look at the real-time
Sampai
cheer
MM yang anu
leaderboard.
itu.
The cheer leaderboard will be locked.
Dia
Final
kayak
day of the
mantul-mantul
cheer
kan.
period,
Iya.
0 hour,
Ultinya
July
kalau ultinya
27th.
sakit kalau ngumpul
After
tuh.
which, the rewards period will begin.
Aduh,
The
obat
reward period
kena semua.
is from July 27th to
Terus kalau
July 30th.
minion ngumpul lah, mencar dah.
That reach number 1 in the cheer
kontennya pakai item aja.
go back to the event page
Kalau dia
5 times for amazing rewards.
Hero
Bring
healing,
your friends and cheer
hero
for
yang
your
jelas banget
favorite
pastinya.
team. Experience the
Di
glory of the highest level of competition.
Kalau ada apa itu namanya aku lupa.
PUBG Mobile World
Nggak mau
Invitational
delas lagi dia
powered by
pastinya.
GameStop Borders and brought to you by OnePlus, the official smartphone provider.
Tidak terlalu gelap lah
Evo
ya.
TV, the official streaming
Jadi ini
platform,
mau jadi background biar kita bisa
and
lihat.
STC, the official playout sponsor.
Oke deh terus.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had our first match now done here of our second day of the PMWI West Conference, and Canada Power taking themselves a much-deserved and much-needed victory, getting themselves 15 points for the chicken dinner and all the points they got for every single kill they picked up in this one. There's quite a few
Kalau
teams that are
dikecilin
able to
mungkin
step up
anunya
over the course of
resolusinya
this match. Just
lebih jelas
still
ya.
your host, my two analysts are starting to break down how Canada Power and Ghost and Ra'ad all decided to perform well here on our second day.
Tidak apa-apa lah udah.
It's that day two magic, right, Frost?
Yeah, day 2 magic for Ghost Gaming at least. But no, but like, look at Kanina Power though. That's what we wanted to see, right? More splits, and they were taking advantage of that. Already from the start, we saw them taking a lot of splits, doing a lot of 1-1-1-1 splits, taking a lot of ground, but also being able to control it. That's so important. We saw, of course, Nomi on the bridge there holding out Flash by himself, and then you had Acer just holding out Destiny below the bridge. They get himself 25 points in this one. I told you, I said they were gonna get like third place
Yang
after
penting
this
ngasih
game.
anu aja lah
They're
ya.
gonna be around there. I don't really know exactly where they are right now.
And the one thing that we mentioned is that luckily for all these teams, there's not a team that's kind of currently running away with it. So by them having matches like this, they're going to be able to slowly catch up. And even though Ghost Gaming didn't really get those kill points that we're kind of used to seeing out of them, for them to at least get within those 10 to 12 placement points, this is huge for them. And also one of the star players in Tensa, he was able to kind of pop off 940 damage to himself, 3 kills. 19 Esports. This is another team when we're going to start talking about consistency. I feel like we have to start bringing in 19 Esports. They have been consistent, Xenox and Sheepan. They're starting to become the duo. Before it used to be Xenox and Carnage. Well, guess what? He's been replaced. And then we have Rod. Rod pretty much, what? They almost doubled their whole points from yesterday in regards to kill, if I'm not mistaken. They did end up almost doubling their kills as well. They're able to get 7 kills, 15 points total. And X-Ria Gaming, some of these kills that they were able to get, they were able to third-party people. Overall, I'm impressed with some of these teams stepping it up, and I know we have to talk about this one. Team Onyx, the team that was in dead last place and only had 4 points after 5 matches yesterday. Guess what? For them to be able to get 6 points, that's going to be pretty good for them.
That's going to be really good. I mean, that's what you love to see as well. Them learning from the failure of yesterday. Sometimes you're going to be failing, but the important thing is when you fail, you need to learn from those mistakes and learn to do better. And that's what we see from Team Onyx coming in here today. Not only them, but a lot of the teams. Now, coming in here on the second page, we do see a few names that we did not expect to be down there. Let's go from the bottom. Alpha 7, 0 kills, 0 points. I mean, they had a good fight there against Clash, but Clash, they came on top. They had the angles. We saw MZ on the tower there as well, having that kind of second angle to be able to hold them down, and the rest of the team just took care of Alpha 7. But you also have teams like Guns. I'm expecting more from Destiny. We saw them yesterday rocking everyone. Now only 2 points, but hey, it's the first game. Yesterday they started off with 2 points, no 3 points in the first game, so they could still come back strong like they did yesterday.
Well, speaking of yesterday, why don't we take a look at a couple of teams and how they performed yesterday up against how they performed so far today. Let's take a look right off the bat. Akanita Power, our victors here in our last match that we just had happen, our very first one of 5 today. Akanita Power, I mean, we've always seen them be a slow starting team, Seven, thinking back a long time ago whenever we worked with them or we've obviously analyzed and casted them. They've always been that team that have those slower starts, but always seem to ramp up as a tournament.
Yeah, for this one, you know what, Frost, I know you've been wanting to talk about this team, so take it from me.
Well, it doesn't matter, but yeah, we look, of course, on the right side, it's going to be higher on everything because it's only 1 game compared to the left side where we have 5 games from yesterday. But, of course, it's a great start to see them starting off with 1,600 damage, 25 points and 10 kills. That is awesome to see, but they got to keep this up as well. And that's kind of what we expect from a team like Akanita Power. We saw them in the last 2 games yesterday. That's when they started Friday. That's when we started seeing them actually doing a lot of carnage in this lobby. And they're continuing that road. Yesterday they ended with a 4th place, 3rd place, and now starting off today with a victory here. That's gonna put them up there. They're gonna be happy with that one. I think they're just gonna continue like that because we saw them doing those splits, and it's amazing because everybody else is basically just grouping up, and they're just taking so much ground, and no one is punishing them for it.
Well, Nomi is punishing other people for it. Let's take a look, though, at Ghost Gaming as our second team here, and they really disappeared and ghosted the front page of our overall leaderboards, and we can see they've been able to step up now as, well, again, HH24 had some great kills, but if I'm not mistaken, Seven, Tenza, the guy you were talking about before the matches began, he had a fantastic match.
When you think about Ghost Gaming and when you think about day 1 and day 2, I just want you to remember Tensa. That is the man that usually tends to spark up this team no matter what happens. And then once he spark it up, then Spec, HH Uniform, Bell will also start backing him up. But right here, I mean, just look at the damage output that they were able to do. Obviously, they didn't convert into those kills. I'm pretty sure this team, we really don't have to worry about kills. In regards to Tensa, though, the grenades have been the highlight for this man. The grenades that he was able to put up. Something I do want to go back a little bit more of is a lot of these ANA teams and America's team in general, and I kind of want to tell this to the viewers, are not really used to seeing the aggressiveness out of some of the other teams. For example, with Alpha 7, they ended up, as soon as Korea went down from them, Clash just right away pushed them, and I don't think Alpha 7 was expecting them. They're not used to seeing that from their region. Same with, I believe it was Goes. They lost back, and guess what? Guns started just chasing them into a compound, so a lot of these teams are definitely having to adjust to how some of these European teams are playing.
That's what you want to see.
No, Young Frost, you don't get a chance. Speaking of, next match is not to start here, so we're going to go over to Rod real quick, because this team we did want to touch on, considering, speaking of adjustments from day 1 to day 2, this team seems to have made the right ones, having a much better performance here, and probably their best performance we've seen so far.
Brad had a rough time yesterday in the first 4 games, but in the last one we saw a little bit of spark, a little bit of light coming from them. Getting himself that 5th place with 6 kills, and that's kind of what they've been continuing on here today. Get himself that 4th place, 7 kills, a great play. We saw him rotating into the center, and not just doing that, but being able to hold down that compound. Getting clashed down by so many teams, and being able to grab 15 points, that is a great start for me. I want to see them continue that. I want to see them propel themselves up there on the leaderboard today.
Gravity
All the
3D.
fans from Egypt are definitely happy about the result from them in that first match. And speaking about countries, you guys, again, if you saw it during the break, you guys can cheer for your favorite teams, your favorite countries to go. Remember, just to log into the game, make sure to head over to the cheer section and make sure to do that every single day. And then you can obviously win some things at the very end of it all. All right, gentlemen, it's time to kick you two out of here because it's time to bring our commentators back in to kick off our second match. We're heading over to the moist battleground of Sandhawk. And it's to be brought to you by these two fine gentlemen, Viram and Mustache Dave.
I mean, probably don't call it that though, Jason. Yeah, less a fan of that. Sandhawk, grounded Sandhawk though. A map overall, Dave. We're very excited about because we get to see lots of action. The blue zone is as punishing as ever. Yesterday certainly delivered, and I don't expect today to be any different.
A tropical map. We can say that.
Let's go with that.
A tropical map. So we are in the Sandhawk game. We have 3 more Sandhawks in the PUBG Mobile World Invitational West. All right, 20 games total. We're gonna have 4 Sandhawks, 4 Miramars. We played one of each yesterday, so it's gonna be exciting. Yesterday we saw 19E and who was it? Alpha 7. 19E, they backed up boot camp. In scrims and previous events, both teams they dropped boot camp. So I'm curious to see what will happen here today. And Curiosity, look at that, 19E already pulling off that one. So Alpha 7 getting a nice prime position to themselves once again.
Yeah, this is big because they're going to be in this central zone. They're going to have lots of time to loot, to set up, and they're going to be able to take the fights they want to, ideally. Hopefully, depending on where the circle goes, not have everybody just crashing into them. They turtled up a lot yesterday in this position. They didn't really move. I want to see them make some, now that they know who's dropping around them, they're a little bit more cognizant of what the rotations are going to look like. I want to see them make a concerted effort to go take some of these early game fights that they know they can win. Obviously, try not to get third party, but Alpha 7, they're in a good spot right now, but, I mean, they're almost half the number 1 in terms of points, so that they need to do some work if they want to turn this around.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Alpha 7, like you said, they know for a fact who is going to be near them. Another team I want to keep tabs on here has to be Destiny, right? Yesterday, we saw them in those cliffs, and it didn't pay off for them. Today, same thing. Does not pay off. Yeah, sure, they'll be able to get some loot up there free and clear. But talking to me, they told me that their main goal here today, make sure not to lose players early. They want to keep everybody alive that late game. So we'll see if they can accomplish that, considering their drop spot not going to be favored right now.
Speaking of not being favored, oh, Master, this guy. Oh, he just gets caught out on his own. I mean, to be fair, he was with a teammate. That teammate's just dead now, to be fair. They were able to take one member of ROD with them, but this is just not the opening either of these teams need. Especially Onyx. Like, they showed a breath of life in the last game, but it isn't really making a difference.
But look at this. Master has the support, has the squad mate right here on these stairs, lurking in the shadows. Gee, this could be huge for Onyx if they play their cards right. Be huge. If they can get a squad wipe, yes, it's going to be a challenge. There's only 2 alive. 2v3 though, we've seen it done before.
Yeah, indeed. If they can find an isolated player, 1v1, catch them out. But Delhop, I think, is aware that there is another player nearby going for the wide wrap. I think they're baiting him a little bit. He is opting to just hard run. They're going to know exactly where he is. There are the shots coming around the corner. He's taking so much initial damage. Prospect misses his shots, though, right to the legs. He's going to go down, but the trade comes in, and now this just means Master is going to flounder. Off on their own, is coming in for the wrap now, but no helmet, no vest. I was going to say no, I do have a vest, but...
Grenade though. Grenade? Master knows where this pickup is happening. That would have been the moment. That would have been the moment. Wrapping around. But now, 1v3. Drop shot. Oh, okay. 1v2. Alright, goes for the shot. You can hear the footsteps. That's exactly where this player is. The jump shot, though, doing work. He's committing to the nade. Maybe No. shouldn't have. The M249 now floor drop, by the way. We see it every single game. It's such a huge weapon to pick up, especially off the drop. Imagine parachuting M249. Bam, right there. Like, oh man, I love it. I love it. And talk about loving something else. God sent early fight here. They did throw out a grenade earlier though, but Next Rate Gaming pushes right on through it. But just for a second, I thought that maybe, just maybe, they'd be able to win that exchange. But Kudra is able to get it done. So just like that, Sandhawk certainly delivers some of these early fights. This was the start of it. Godsend getting rolled up on by Next Rate Gaming. Fantastic plays. These drop shots just in this game so far today, Dave, have been sick. Yeah, I love drop shots. You know, last season I was like, do you even drop shot, bro? But I believe this season now, yeah, the drop shots, but the crouch spam, they improved it. So you can crouch spam all day long and maybe throw off your enemies. But Alpha 7 pushing uphill. It's gonna be Ghost right here.
I
mean, these are two teams. I mean, I talked about I wanted Alpha 7 to take a smart fight early. They know where everyone is at. Running into Ghost Gaming wasn't necessarily what I had in mind, especially because they were incredibly split. This seems like an objective misplay here from Alpha 7. Carrillo, though, in these close-range fights, denies all the odds. Never tell him to, Dave. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, so it's a 1v4, but it does look like they have the support from his squad mates quickly rolling up, running across that field. HH's cooking the grenade, tossing the grenade. Just a little shy of the mark right there.
Yeah, which means the Sensex is going to be able to get in position, give Carrillo a chance to try and reset. Oh, but the off angle. The UMP comes in, put another one in response, and just like this, Ghost Gaming is in shambles. I was talking about how I was expecting them to completely step up here, but Carrillo by himself shutting all down. It all comes down to Bayo, the last one standing, more like the last one to hit the floor.
That was nice to watch from Alpha. Not gonna lie, that was pretty.
Oh, okay.
Hey, they feel the same way right there. They lost one in the process, right? But look at the pros and cons. They got 4 kills. Not only that, they're dead center. They're gonna get some additional loot, and that was Ghost, right? Like Ghost, they had a phenomenal game 1. My concern now, you know, and I'm looking out for 7 on the desk. Can they just kind of not get tilted, right, after that wipe? That's going to be so important because they do still have some more games to go, and I'm a true believer in, like, momentum, right? And think about it. The train, it left the station last game, but then they left and we forgot the gas.
It broke down.
Yeah, the wheel broke off. Yeah, like the train tracks were broke. So hopefully that doesn't really play a factor moving forward because, of course, I'm a big fan, you know, Ghost Gaming USA, so we'll see.
Boy. And here's the thing that I think is kind of rattling me about all that. Ghost wasn't making the wrong play. They were set up well. Alpha 7 was split. They just lost their 1v1s. They just lost their gunfights. Carrillo was there. The long-range shots to support were there. The trades just were in favor. It was a 4v3, and they had the high ground. They had positional advantage. Ghost shouldn't have lost them. They just got outgunned. And those ones are hard to shake because they're easier to shake because you're like, well, we just lost whatever. Or you go, crap, how did we lose that? You cannot let it get into your head. I think luckily, though, for these players, they played enough games. I'm less worried about that happening.
In Carrillo, they were able to kind of be so aggressive because they knew for a fact, like, their squad mates are approaching, and all of that, their squad mates are holding the angles that Ghost, they couldn't really push from behind those boulders and take that pretty much 4v1. And that's why it was so important, and we kept seeing them spam those grenades and those mollies. They needed to land one of those grenades. If they would have landed a grenade early on, I feel like it would have been a different story. Ghost would have came out on top of that engagement.
Yeah, there are about 4 things they could have done differently. They could have, again, hitting one of those grenades, could have gone for a wide wrap, but again, every single game is going to be a little bit different, but now Alpha 7 are spread out, taking some fire, though, from Chivas across the way, and I actually kind of like this, because right now, they've won the ground. They've won this hilltop, and now it's about intel gathering. Who is going to be the next one to come and challenge them? Because Meds, they're looking a little sparse.
They're up here on the hill like, we got the hill! Come fight me! And 19E, they know. They heard those shots earlier on. 19E, they know Alpha 7 should be around here also because, remember, they bullied them out of their boot camp drop spot. So, 19E could have 4 up. Yep, they got 4 up. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they end up deciding to do here. And just kind of getting a feel for the map, looking around. A lot of teams kind of hovering around this hill right now, but I'm looking over there, west side. We got Guns, we got Destiny looting over there. They might be running into each other here very shortly.
Could be running into Rahad as well, who's holding down this position a little bit further into the circle. Pynon is oddly vacant at this stage. Okonostra is taking the hill, overlooking it, which I don't dislike. Destiny is still going for these wide loot phases, which I do really appreciate, because getting those meds in order to heal strat on this map is so critical. If you can leave a player at the back of a fight with like 35 first aids, we have seen teams get, 7, 8, 9, 10 additional points for their team because they have sat back and heal stratted. So spending a lot of time looting early, Dave, I think is a completely valid strategy on this map.
And they're gonna need it. Next circle goes up. We see Beast already in a vehicle, so they got that. But when we look at vehicles, Sandhawk, the two don't really mix well, right? They don't really mix well. One thing I want to really quickly point out, talk to Mihi, just kind of wrap back around to that. I asked Mihi from Destiny, like, hey, you guys afraid to like kind of fight anybody, any challenges? And they told me, like, no, our mindset is we're not afraid. We know we're gonna take a fight and we're gonna win that fight. That right there, that's like the mindset of like a true champion, in my opinion. So we'll see what they can do with that mindset, because they do have a slight challenge right now to rotate into this next zone. And we were talking about this hill earlier on. 19E representing Canada, looking to take it from Brazil.
Oh, 19E have the work cut out for them, trying to make their way up this hill. And just like that, Mafios is saying absolutely not. And Sam caught out right in the open. Xenox is rethinking his life choices. His Acer and G-Fender trying to find an up angle, but this could be the opportunity for Alpha 7 to converge. Bring the rest of the squad together. Smoke is down, but Sam, the hit marker's confirmed. It's Sam. Oh, is Force back? They're going to be able to get the revive with a scrap of HP. Are you kidding me?
Texa pushing up. Texa's position is going to be compromised from Acer, though. Able to get a nice little angle to allow this revive to occur. Texa, though, cooking a grenade, tossing it, trying to connect on the sheep band. Little grenade battle right here, but look at these two boulders.
Texa very smartly repositioning, because that nade from Shifan would have been right on the money. Great call there. Playing back, going against some covering fire down. But the fact that 19 was able to get Sam up and in this, that is a huge boon for them. They need to completely rethink this fight. I mean, if I was them, I would try and find a way to reposition. The issue is the terrain, Dave, is just not conducive for it. They're kind of stuck.
Some smokes might be able to help, kind of close that gap. You have to remember, this is a 4v2, but the duo, they got some nice angles in the high ground. Oh, hitting that shimmy. Sheepman trying to pull back to their squad mates, almost losing their life in the process.
Oh, and Sam is going to be able to get a counter knock. The fact that Alpha 7 didn't get a single one of their own, this is big. I still favored the 2v4 for Alpha 7 here. They just had a way better position, but somehow, some way, biting off a little bit more than they could chew. Alpha 7 is going to drop one player. The revive will come out. This gives 19 an opportunity either to push or reset. What are they going to do, Dave? They're kind of being hesitant in the call. They're going to go for a bit of a wrap, and they are going to go around on the outside, but RTG is also coming into play. This fight is taking way too long. They needed to be a little more decisive. I don't think they realized, Dave, that the third player from Alpha, it's just the two of them. I don't think they realized that.
Yeah, a play definitely needs to be made, because eventually they're just going to get stuck down on the low ground in this valley, especially with RTG. 4 members alive, looted, out of their mind right now. Like, they're going to hear these shots, and all they need to do is just, like, look down at the bottom of the valley. And, 19E, they're just going to be sitting ducks. So, looks like everybody trying to separate for the time being, but that little cluster up there, we'll have to keep tabs on that. And talking about more clusters of potential fights down there towards the south, Destiny and Guns.
There's just a straight line down the center of this circle. All the teams just stacked one on top of the other. The world's deadliest game of Jenga. as we're seeing the circle shift down towards the southeast. Basically, no one down there in towards that Kampong/Docks district. Keep an eye on that, as both Guns and Destiny will have to rotate up from Camp Charlie. Team Queso could play gatekeeper there as well, but it's that northernmost fight, Dave, that I'm the most worried about, because we know at this point the blue is going to start to hit even harder. We'll see if these teams are going to have to rotate in Guns Destiny. This is the play.
Reek over here, prone, playing that snake roll, trying to get some shots in while they can. They were able to do so. Mihi strolling by, was able to clutch it out, get that high ground, but Freak is not going to let this one go. For free, pulling up. Mihi really low though in the guard tower.
Yeah, he took some shots from range, though. Does have the big gun going to be continued to be pinned down. He's going to play these angles incredibly well. He's pinched, separated from the rest of his squad. Off the roof, get out of there. Cooked him to a crisp.
That's beautiful. The volley off the roof. Huge big brain play.
Some Sandhawk barbecue right there.
I can smell it. I can smell it from here too, by the way, Paul. It smells good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the smell of victory right there. As we're taking a look back towards this fight up in the north, RTG, Alpha 7, 19E. All these squads going at each other, community power, Destiny still getting involved. Guns is here as well. This is the Sandhawk we know and love, Dave. The Mollies are flying out in force. Going to be forcing Ralph into a more compromised position. He's stuck. That Molly didn't quite push him out behind the rock, though. That was big, but Fresh is going to get it done by hand. Going for the big guns. The nade is thrown, does some damage, softening him up, and now Fresh is in a bit of a rough spot and gets pinched.
It forced them to push around that right-hand side where the angle was exposed. That was actually pretty smart, and popping back into this engagement. 19E squaring off against RTG. G-Fan, they're going to be in the blue. You have to know, the blue zone, it's going to start to hurt here very shortly.
It is indeed, and this is exactly what I was worried about for these two teams. 19E use Sam as bait there, I'm going to be honest, and now they've got to just make the dash for it themselves. No vehicles. The last remaining member of Alpha 7's Mafios is just kind of chuckling to themselves as all the teams that they were fighting with are just killing themselves out in the blue. They're going to try and make their way towards this next circle, but this isn't looking great. 5 first aids is something here for Shifam, but they just took way too long, Dave. And you know, I was going to drop some for Xenox. I'm pretty sure Xenox is going to make it.
You got to go for it. Someone has to have all the meds and just, you know, hope that they can make it. And I feel like that's a product of the ability of Alpha 7 to, even with the duo, to keep a full squad, like just pin down and force them to reconsider pushing in this direction. So, hats off, right? Hats off to Alpha 7 right there. Yeah, you know, they lost one in the process, but still, with the solo up, they can still go for those placement points. Okay.
Indeed. Okay, we're going down to the bay. Oh, baby, this is going to get spicy. Dave, we got barbecue. This is spicy barbecue.
I'm not gonna lie, if I'm Team Queso, yeah, you can get some major kills up there on the high ground, but I might just dip into that cave, man. It's straight chill because it's looking good. I mean, talk about, not only that, it's like you can kind of bet that you'll be able to get higher placement points inside the cave right now. If that's something they want to do, they definitely have that possibility. There's loot down there, there should be some meds down there, and there's always like an aqua rail down there, the jet ski. So they have the evacuation plan, so we'll see.
Ooh, Lux running right past that nade, as they do next rated gaming, except they're on the high ground, and we'll see. I mean, it's definitely the potential for them to go down there, but I think knowing Queso, they like to play a little bit more split. We saw them doing a pretty good job of holding a lot of ground last time, and it's paying off for them as they're able to pick up some kills here. Nice job. Rambo able to hit those shots. They can look down towards Rod, continue to put the pressure on. This is huge from them, but they're taking fire in return.
I think I just got that skin too, by the way. 250 UC. It's such a deal. So make sure you go get it. As we're looking over here, we're making a pull-up clash. They're gonna have the opportunity to potentially get some kills. Team Queso repositioning. They're realizing they might just be a little too split. Avoiding freak. Axel almost getting ran over from the McLaren right there.
Chill out, Neo. Like, calm down. Understand you're going into bullet time. We see what's going on. Wow, that was close. That could have been really bad there for Team Queso. They are going to opt to converge, come in here down to the coast.
On the car! In the water!
Oh my goodness, that's a big brain play right there. We don't get to see that too often, have that kind of success, but it worked out well as Guns able to put a little bit of pressure on, but I'm not sure how long they are for this world.
When the McLaren turns into a submarine, that's what Freak from Guns is saying right there. Just trying to survive, and they're in the zone too. Like, they're in the next zone, so you can't really hate that play.
Seeing Axel continue to put the pressure on. Yeah, I like this call from Team K. So they've only got 2 kills for now, but they set themselves up to potentially get a whole lot more. So keep an eye on this. Xenox on the outside. 19D barely trying to make it on in, fighting up against UDR killers as well. And there's Guns getting eliminated. Chivas Esports coming in, able to continue to put the pressure on. Nice nade coming in, though, onto 2 players, and it's good, Dave. They survived with 1 HP. Oh, my.
Huge damage right there. Huge damage. And that's onto Fran, one of the star players. And look at this, from behind, spotted, and talk about the cleanup crew out here. 2 games in a row. 2 games.
Kills.
Yeah, exactly. Egypt. They are just getting so many kill points here today so far. Hey, we got Loca Nostra in the cave. Thank you, Loca Nostra. I appreciate you.
There we go.
There you go.
Brent's doing the work. Making it happen for you there as Alpha 7 finally will go down. But props to Mafios for living for so long, able to get his team into the top 10. That's nice there for them. In case though, still looking like the team to beat. Dave, up there on this high ground, I immediately identified if they stay on the high ground, it opens up the possibilities to get a lot of kills, and that's what we're seeing here. But props to Rod as well. They came in, and Delhop just did a fantastic job of catching those teams off guard. 19 will finally go down. Team Queso picks that one up as well. G-Fan just gets digged out there, and
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
The shift. Yeah, Clash shift.
This is huge for Clash. Like, I don't see them not winning, if I can say that. They have the compounds over here. Daddy forced to push out. UMP way down. Got him. Team Queso no longer in the game. And look at this. Daddy stayed behind to play that anchor, while their other 3 squad mates, they swam across the channel. Smart play from Loca Nostra.
This is huge because now the potential for them to get backfilled is gone. Nita just died as well. Chivas Esports is out. Daddy just single-handedly put his team back in this game. You're 100% correct. Clash is still very much the favorite. But look, he's pre-scouting. He's giving them covering fire with his dying breath. Talk about a play there from Loca Nostra.
So worth it, too. They call him Daddy for a reason right there. They're able to get their squad mates across the water. They got a couple boulders to work with, and just like that, 4 teams to go. Even if they get taken out here, that's 8 placement points. That is extremely worth it, in my opinion, right there, that play.
Oh, 10,000% worth it. You get 2 kills onto Queso, and you secure your team this next spot in the zone. Absolutely worth it. I mean, they're going to have to try and breach the beach, so good luck to them on that. Clash has gotten the circle time and again here. The angry porcupine taking shots in every direction. They've got the only piece of hardcover with this compound at the next circle. They have been circle blast going into game number 2.
4 up. I mean, France right now, they're celebrating. Only 4 kills, but they should be able to rack that up. And even if the blue takes away the additional potential for kill points, first place, that's 15 points. So that's going to be huge for Clash, who definitely needed, I believe, 15th place as of right now. So this is going to be that huge buff for them on the overall leaderboard.
Absolutely massive. They just took advantage of the chaos that was Sandhawk. They played it a little bit more passive, which I've noticed tends to be their style. They really only take fights they feel they have to. They focus a lot more on survival, staying alive. But if I'm some of these other teams and I know what's going on or have an inkling of what's happening, I'm denying myself to the blue, like we're seeing right now. I'm playing the heal strats. I'm not giving anybody else any more of these points, and that's exactly what we're going to see. The quietest ending you've ever seen to a game of PUBG Mobile, as everyone just accepts their fate, denies the points, and just like that, chicken dinner goes to Clash.
Heading over to France for game number 2 here of day number 2. And you nailed it on the head there just a little bit, like all the chaos. Everybody trying to get those big games when it comes to kill points, trying to, stake their claim, their flag in the soil, especially there on the beach. Meanwhile, Clash, you're like, let's just rotate down there, towards docks. Maybe they scouted it, realized nobody's going to be down there because no vehicles might be present, and they had such a strong position. Not only that, favored about 3 times towards the late game. Easiest chicken dinner. Easiest chicken dinner you could ask for right there. But they planned for it,
They
though.
didn't have to shoot their guns.
They didn't shoot their guns. They planned for it.
I think they got like a kill in that compound.
They rotated down there, though. Like, that was intentional. But yeah, easiest chicken dinner I've ever seen.
Oh yes, yes. One of the most chill, because the rest of this game certainly was not. There was action from literally minute one, as we saw teams hot dropping on one another, trying to make big plays and getting shut down in the process. Next Area Gaming did a fantastic job. That roll up on Godsend was absolutely sick, but it was this one right here that I think really changed the face of the game. Alpha 7 able to win a disadvantageous fight up against Ghost, remove them from the server. That set Alpha 7 up to do so much more in this game. They denied 19E, they shut them down, did a ton of work as just a duo. Dave, if this is the Alpha 7 we're going to see all day, all weekend, Brazil is in the house. They are going to be a contender.
And that's what's so impressive. Like, this is only a duo up there, and they're able to make sure to keep an entire squad pinned down and force them to reconsider their movement, right? And they kind of forced them towards RTG, and they had to fight in the blue. They had to fight the blue. Meanwhile, the solo from Alpha, they're like, hey, okay, you guys got that back there. I'm going for placement points, so pretty good stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, every game we watch, Paul, for some reason, I'm starting to become a bigger fan of Onyx. I don't know if it's the underdog story or whatnot, but
It is.
I don't know what it is, but like, I want Onyx
the underdogs. Yeah, I think it's because they had such a struggle on day number one. I mean, they came to the end of the day with like 4 points. And after that first game, they were at 10. We weren't even sure if they were going to hit 10 points today. And they were able to get a couple of kills in the early game. So I 100% agree, Dave. I'm looking towards Onyx to try and build some momentum for themselves. That's one of, and also Rahad. Rahad is the team we need to keep looking at. Again, Clash, props to them. Super solid, smart rotations, great team play. They're able to get the win, but there are a lot of squads we're keeping our eyes on. And I know our analysts are too, which means we need to head to a short break. When we come back, analysts will break it down in game number 3.
When the world has safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines, how can we make sure they reach the people that need them most? Today, there are many vaccines in development. Most will fail. For those that could succeed, governments are under pressure to secure supplies for their populations. If governments compete for vaccines, most countries could miss out. This is not only bad for countries that cannot secure their own supplies, it's bad for us all, as no one is safe until everyone is safe.
Males nyari. Orange juice coba. Kamu tahu campur sih.
Soalnya orange itu bukan hanya ya, para isinya ya nggak bisa berwarna itu, dia tuh memang bisanya kayak gini gitu.
Anu boleh teleponnya bos? Teleponnya lo?
Before we were anywhere near the extent we're at now, Alicia and her team were working tremendously hard to address perceived future drug shortages. The idea with the ICU kit at the beginning was trying to think of a way that we could help these patients that are critical in ICU settings. In this case, it was kind of the next layer of protection for this response. In the kit, we have a few different types of medications, antibiotics for secondary bacterial infections, as well as blood pressure support, so vasopressors. Things like albuterol inhalers, we were learning were highly requested in hospitals. Medications that are used for intubation and sedation that help with that process. Each one of these kits is designed to have about 100 courses of antibiotics and supportive medications. The first 2 are headed up to Northern California in the Bay Area, which is especially hard hit, and the next 11 are going to hospitals across New Jersey, and we'll have about 80 of them going to New York City. In the end, we're
just feeling really fortunate that we're able to support our partners with these medications that they need so desperately. The wisdom, the expertise that I think this team has demonstrated in being able to help us as a community partner, but also hospitals and healthcare systems around the country struggle with drug shortages, which are now a reality, I think just speaks volumes to the impact we are having.
Namanya apa nih? Mobile.
We've got the OnePlus 9 Pro. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this display is out of this world.
Sambil apa dicari manualnya?
It's got 65 watts of charging power. The 9 series is next level.
Komiknya sih, komik sans sih kayaknya. We can make it if we cry, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Oh, the two of us. Cari di temen dong warna yang cocok dengan warna emas.
Nah,
Itu warna kuning ya di lokasinya.
kuning tapi kuningnya kayak ada rasa coklatnya. Nah itu oke.
Stripnya coklat.
Coklat.
Coklat ya. Iya, itu
Nggak,
coklat.
tadi lebih oke sih.
Feelnya coklat harusnya. Tai ya gitu.
Coklat atau kuning? Tadi yang pertama tuh ada yang pertama tuh sebelum ini mau tai nih.
Kuning yang ini.
Bukan.
Ada yang kan juga loh maksudnya. Itu cerah. Ini terus oren harusnya.
Pokoknya yang sama.
Kayak aja ya. Komik dulu. Komik dari
Ada telepon kambingnya juga gitu juga. Itu yang atas. Beda.
PUBG Mobile World Invitational is powered by Gamers Without Borders and is brought to you by OnePlus, the official smartphone provider, Nemo TV, the official streaming platform, and STC, the official playout sponsor. And Sandhawk is an interesting battlegrounds and it proved to have some interesting zones we just saw here in our second match of the day. A lot of teams very happy about the way it shifted. A lot of teams very unhappy as they got punished on the transition to get back into the safe spots. But that's going to be another match done and dusted for today. I'm Jason Captain, joined by Frost and Seven Worlds Gaming to start to break this one down. We saw a lot of great individual play, I think is the way I want to break this one
up. Daddy in particular coming in from Akinoshia MVP with some great positioning and a selfless play for his team so they can succeed.
Yeah, I think the winner of that, I mean, yeah, Daddy showing why they call him Daddy, right? He was protective over his team. He made sure he stayed standing until the last second. But overall, the circle, I mean, the circle just screwed over so many people there as we are seeing the match ranking here. We see Clash. To be completely honest, as much as we want to like be like, oh yeah, they did amazing, they just had circle and they also had a compound and they were able to pick people apart. They were able to, however, at least put up 7 kills, 22 points. And Next Ria, I think overall out of those two teams, Next Ria was definitely the more impressive one for me, for us.
I mean, I gotta say though, even if you get the circle, you get the you have the compound, you gotta be able to hold it down. So Clash did a wonderful job on that. But yeah, as you're mentioning, Next Ria, 2 good games back to back now. That's gonna put them top towards the leaderboard there. But Lacra Nostra also getting strong, and Rad again, a really good game from them. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. But not only that, but it's kind of a thing, right? All the teams have a kind of a different playstyle from yesterday. We've seen them being so much more aggressive here today compared to yesterday. Yesterday was a passive play from all the teams today. We're seeing these kind of early fights going on already from the start of the game, time after time after time.
Yeah, and it's a good bounce back too. I was gonna say from RTG at least able to bounce back from that 16th place I think it was, and 1 kill. Guess what? They were able to at least get 4th place. As we're gonna be going here towards the second page, we have 19 esports being able to get 5 points, and you know what? I'm just gonna go down a little bit more. We got the winners of the last match, Kadena Power. I mean, guess what? The Sandhawk it's not the best map for all the teams. We see Kadena Power being only able to get 2 points there, and then we go down a little bit more. Our former first place, I guess you could say, Destiny, they're only getting 1 point. And Ghost Gaming, with this team, I thought they were really starting to pick it up here, especially after what we saw in that last Erangel. But I think it just comes down to Sandhawk. This is a team that usually doesn't really tend to perform that well in Sandhawk. I am going to be looking forward to see how they bounce back here on the Erangel coming up.
Yeah, I mean, having Sandhawk in here just playing once per day, it's kind of like a walk-on map for a lot of the teams, and it doesn't matter too much. For some of the teams, of course, being able to put up a lot of points there, that's going to be great for them. But for other teams, you want to be focusing more on Erangel, because having 3 out of the 5 maps every day played on Erangel, that's where it's important that you're being able to put up the points that you need for your team.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult to be able to maintain that level of consistency on a map like Erangel when everyone knows that map so well. And then, of course, if you try to specialize on a map like Sandhawk or Miramar, at least the format we're currently using, only playing once a day is really, it's not ideal for you to try to build up your massive amount of points, especially if you don't perform that well in that match for that day. But you know what? Let's move past this. Let's actually talk about our top 10 fraggers so far in the event. We've already checked it out when it came to East Conference earlier on today. We need to check it out when we look at the West, because we need to see who are the real standout players. And one name that I'm not seeing up there that I'm really sad to not see, actually, is from Next Ria Gaming. It's Frozen, who is this young, like 15-year-old player who just dismantled PMPL Turkey when it came to the league stage. But we are seeing Kadena Power with Fache get himself into the #1 spot here. So
yeah, this is the one that Jason, thanks so much for telling me how to say his name, Facha, because that I have no idea. And look at him, first place, 14 kills. Ayala though, hey, Ayala has been super consistent for Team Queso. Team Queso was being a lot more, I do want to give him props. They were being a lot more aggressive in that last match. It just came down to the circle just saying, nope, just kidding. Today's not the day for you guys to win a Sandhawk match.
I mean, yesterday we saw 3 players from Destiny being up there on the top 10 kill leaderboard, but today we've seen 3 players from Next Ria instead, and that kind of tells the story, right? And as you mentioned, Jason, their star player Frozen is not even up there. And imagine if he starts coming up to his normal skill play as well, like, what's gonna happen with Next Ria? How many points are they gonna be able to gather here today?
Yeah, you know, there's a couple of names in there. I think I even saw Revo. I just wanted to bring up really quick from Alpha 7, who only is on 12 kills. And he had 12 kills at the end of yesterday, so a little bit of a struggle. But then again, Alpha 7 have had a struggle their first 2 matches. But yeah, I mean, I'm so used to seeing, like, you know, Beowulf in our top 10, 7, even Spec as well. There's a lot of names that we're just not seeing, at least when it comes from the American side. And then 19 Esports as well. I mean, they're kind of sitting pretty at, you know, top 5, top 4 position. And I don't know what it is about them, but they're doing extremely well. I believe there's actually even another giveaway we're doing for you all at home. Yeah, and it actually all comes into how many people are watching the stream at the exact same moment. So there's some milestones that I'm looking to hit here, and if we do hit them, you get some free permanent outfits, at least a chance to get it. So make sure you tell all your friends, make sure you tell your family, get everyone here watching as possible. So gentlemen, as we move into our third match, I haven't done it yet today. I'm gonna do it now. Predictions. So if you're hopefully out there watching a player as a player, you hope Frost isn't gonna say your team because he seems to have that curse going his way. But Frost, who do you have?
You know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm gonna throw it back to you. Who do you pick, Jason?
Well, that is not my job as the host. So Seven, we'll throw it over to you as your chance to pick.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with Ghost. They did well at the first Aaron Guild. Yesterday, they ended up the day doing well as well. I feel like they're getting ready for that one. If it's not Ghost, it might end up being Chivas, but I know Eloise is pulling for Ghost, so Ghost it is for me.
I'm gonna throw a name out there.
No. You had your chance. You had your chance.
Okay.
You got rid of it. No, quickly.
Back to esports.
Okay, well, Fortnite esports gonna be going out in 16th place here. We're gonna find out with our casters at the very mustache Dave. We bring them back in and head back over to Aaron Gell for match 3 of 5 here of our second day of the PMWI.
Ross, why would you do me like that? Why? Why would you curse 19 esports, the Canadians? Why would you do that to me? Anyway, Dave, we're back. Yes, number 3 on Aaron Gell. Let's see what these teams can do. Map number 1. With the military shift, we saw some teams play a little bit more passive, go for maybe the safer option, quote unquote, and they got punished for it, Dave. I want to see teams do plays that are a little more aggressive. I want to see the players take some risks. And for me, if you are going to be a team to really, grab the fruit, right, the risky fruit, it has to be Onyx, man. Like, it has to be Onyx. Like, especially, just looking at this flight plan. If I'm Onyx, Primorsk gets cool and all, I'm going military base. Okay, that's where I'm going. Get on that sweet loop, get a couple boats if it doesn't favor down there. Whatever Onyx were doing yesterday, they can't be doing today. And game 1, in all fairness, like, a much better game, right? Like, we saw the late game, they had a couple kills. It was a good start, but then last game we saw them in the ruins, kind of getting hot dropped on. We saw the plays coming on out, Master and forced to kind of defend themselves. A lot of hesitation, though. That's what I'm seeing from Onyx. A lot of hesitation in team fights, where they just gotta believe in their gun skills that they got it. So we'll see what they can do here. We're already seeing a couple players, couple teams dropping out. I got my eye. I'm trying to look. Okay, Pachinki confirmed. They told me before this event even started, like, both teams, Ghost, Guns. Dude, my military base prediction. Onyx. Good. Onyx. It's been so good. It would have been made in the shade. I can't see the bottom of that circle, Dave. This is going to be military. Teams need to go now. If I'm Team Queso, I get in a vehicle, I totally ditch Fairy Pier, I go military now. If I'm Konita Power, same thing. I get in a car, I drive. No hesitation. Onyx might look to do the same. I think both teams need to. I think you get in a car, you go. Yeah, I already see a vehicle, Onyx. They got a little 2-2 split going on right now. At least one of their players are in a vehicle. Konita Power's doing it too. Okay, they hear us. Not only that, like, they see the zone. Come on, you know for a fact. Like, this is gonna be a milli game. Like, there's no, I have no way. I'm no way. 95% sure it's gonna go down there. But before we get to that, Pachinki, who's gonna make it on out alive? We already see, what's that, VSS on the Bayo. Bayo making that weapon pretty popular here in Comp. So we'll see what they can do with it. Oh, the card is so shiny. I like it. Anyway, yes, no, VSS. So I'm rocking it actually late game. Last time around, and I remember when I first started casting PUBG Mobile, like way back, like 2019, VSS was actually super common just because it comes silence default. You're able to take these like sort of awkward mid-range fights. Yeah, obviously the bolts don't hit as hard, but it puts you in a position where you can catch teams unaware and extend the time period where you're not getting shot back. Honestly, one of my favorite weapons, and I stand by that since like the day I started playing, right? Especially if you get that extended mag, you got a ton of bullets to whip, in my case, and you're almost guaranteed to hit a couple. And I think it's a really strong weapon early game. In particular, like you said, it comes with a scope. It's suppressed already. The 9mm, not too bad. So we'll see as this game, military. Everybody already trying to
shift down here, trying to claim some type of position for themselves. And they're not having a whole lot of luck here. It's Team Case with a player chilling on the bridge. Looking to try and find some shots. He's already down 2 members of Guns. Going for the pickup. Can they find the shots? Come on. Oh, yes, they do. Okay, Nitsu, the one-man wrecking crew. And it comes down to the last player remaining. Do they even have a weapon? I would pop some tires, but maybe Nitsu's not doing it because the ammo situation might be a little low. And it does look like they were able to drop down, so they don't need to worry about Nitsu getting confirmed right here. And Guns, I'm going to say, not a successful push across the bridge. They lost 2 in the process. At least they got the pickup, but it's going to be tough to defend their position no matter where they go here in this very challenging zone.
This was definitely, of all the zones we've seen so far over the last 2 days, you're 100% correct, Dave. This is the most challenging. This is the one that requires the most decision-making from teams early. It is going to pose a lot of challenging questions that they're going to need to answer. I gotta give props to Guns, though. They actually made the absolute correct play. That drop pickup was sick, and now Freak's in a position where he could turn this one around. The spray, can he transfer it? Not quite. Ran out of ammo. That was nearly sick. That was sick. I correct. It was sick. It was still sick. That's some revenge.
Not gonna lie, kind of dropped the ball there. Like, Team Queso knew for a fact that there's somebody at the end of the bridge, right?
I think they thought they had no weapons because there wasn't a single shot back. I think they thought the entire team had no guns. Nitsu just fell to his death to deny the point. Which I'm not sure I love, because the rest of the team goes around on a boat, and they beach it too, so they deny any other team getting value out of it. Oh, man.
And Hamudi is underneath the bridge, so in case they do decide to drop off the bridge to get that revive, kind of similar to what Guns did, Hamudi's there to get the confirm. So they're really thinking ahead right now.
Or indeed, the question is does Hamudi have a weapon? Didn't have one before. Not sure he has one now, honestly. So keep an eye on that as Rima's going to get confirmed. It's a 2v2 now between Team Queso.
Astaga. Apa? Harus login ke email dong? Ya nggak apa-apa tuh. Langsung keluar aja tuh. Minis